Welcome back to Stay Plugged In's coverage of the Sprite Chill Radiant Rumble, presented by the limited edition flavor Sprite Chill Cherry Lime. Beat the heat of the moment in-game, as well as the moments that happen in the summer heat outside of it. My name is Barely. Joining me is Hail Monkey Man, and we've got more Radiant action coming at you. Like we mentioned, some of the top teams were on fire, and we got a prime example of that yesterday.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of awesome teams that were all ready to try and showcase and strut their stuff, but only a few were able to make it from day one into day number 2. And on day 2, my cat Chief is joining us in the booth. So this is going to be an awesome day for both us as well as all the players.
They are all excited, so is Chief, and we're ready to gear up as well. But before we get into the event details and where we've gotten so far in this tournament, we do want to let you know about Stay Plugged In, because they have partnered with Sprite and partnered with Coca-Cola in order to bring these opportunities to high school students who are looking for esports scholarships, who are looking for esports opportunities in general. So Stay Plugged In is the platform where you can connect directly with colleges. You can message them directly on the platform. So as a player, if you're looking to play at the collegiate level for Valorant, Rocket League, any title, you can do so by signing up for a free account at staypluggedin.com. It is mega simple to do, Hail Monkey Man. Plus, it's basically social media. It's that simple to hop on and just have conversations and see where you land. And hopefully you find a college that you like as well. And also with Stay Plugged In, you know, one of the things that I like to see with a company is being able to really incorporate the entirety of the esports environment. For those high schools that are out there and programs that are looking to build, really what you're looking for is some support in a booster store. And that's what you get with an Emerge Apparel storefront. With Emerge Apparel, you get your own storefront so that any players, any coaches, any fans, family, whoever needs a jersey or a t-shirt, whatever it might be, they can go to emergeapparel.gg and be able to load your storefront, and all the sales proceeds, I think 50% of those proceeds, no matter how big your organization is, it goes right back into your programs. That way you can really start to utilize some of the funding. Hail Monkey Man, as you know, it takes a lot to be able to get that high school esports program where you want it to be, and funding is a great way to do that.
It really is, especially, I mean, you do it with traditional sports and esports as well, simplifying the entire effort and process, making it just so easy for your team of parents, of boosters, of players to be able to get all the extra assistance, to be able to build out all of the things that need at their school, be it for their controllers, for their team, and just having room and more. And hey, I remember when my mom was doing booster stuff, we also got to have cool dinners, and they take us out places to be able to celebrate whenever we had those big events.
Yeah, you get to rock the jerseys, and then obviously you put a little bit of cash in the pocketbook of the organization too, to kind of help you out, and that way you can start to really invest in things that you might need. In fact, a new room would do just that, to go along with the merch that you're able to provide for your students and family. Wouldn't that look cool if you had a backing supporting system of a cool customized room from Spin Labs, a Stay Plugged In Labs? So we'll also come out and be able to refit your rooms. That way you have students that are able to have a place to congregate in order to grow in esports and all the opportunities it provides, to have the PCs, the specs that you need in order to run these games in the first place. Stay Plugged In really does do it from A to Z as far as setting up your room, so that way kids will have a place to compete. They'll have an area where they can strive to get their grades up, knowing that they need to be in order to participate in a program like this. Sports in traditional sports, relatively similar in that aspect. And a lot of these states that we're seeing, in Connecticut, for example, we're seeing it as an actual, actual recognized sport, as it should be. And in my eyes, to have this room is extra special. In fact, we were able to visit one of those high schools in Connecticut and be able to see what they're able to accomplish and just give you an example of what it is that you can do in these labs. Check out this video.
Step and the progress of building an esports program. We built our room. We are part of helping SMSA build their room, and today we're having our first in-person scrimmage. That excitement that had other sporting events, we're now going to get that. So it makes that connection for kids. Like, this becomes part of their home. They feel a connection to it. They want to be here.
All right, we got this. Okay, I'll go run. Go off. Wait. Okay, run dead.
Good O. The room is outstanding. We are so excited to have this esports room, the state-of-the-art equipment and technology to best support our learners have the best esports experience.
When you're here, you just have as much fun as possible. You build a family, to be honest.
All right, I got Ryan. We have, I got Bertie. Wait, Hawks on 3. 1, 2, 3, Hawks! 1, 2, 3, Tigers!
And I don't know about you, Monkey Man, but in high school, if I had a tight-knit group that I could go to and know and count on to have a good time in high school, that would have been the thing that really got me going and got me excited about going to school.
I mean, that's definitely true. You can find it in your friend groups, which I had all of 4 friends, let's go, in high school, but you can be able to expand that even more if you are able to find look, me and like 2 imaginary ones, and there's an extra guy, but you can be able to have all the extra motivation for those rooms, for the equipment that you have in there, and the peace of mind that you're not gonna be just going into a bottom of the barrel Windows 3.1 kind of situation. Shout out Southwest Airlines. But you can simply have some of the best equipment, controllers, and just way of competing, and that way you know that you can be at your best, and that just makes every single student from a freshman upwards to a senior just able to be at that highest skill level.
And then once you get your program at a place where you're ready to compete, it doesn't even have to be your full program. It could just be you as well looking for collegiate opportunities. We have the spin showcases that you can join, and the one for August is actually coming up. It'll be August 24th, so go to staypluggedin.com/events and check out the August showcases. This is for, of course, Valorant is going to be on the docket there, but there's also, if you have friends or if you even play a second game in Rocket League or Overwatch or League of Legends. I believe those are the 4 titles. I'll double check that and get back to you. Those are the ones that we've run on a monthly basis, and sure enough can confirm that those are the ones. So go check out staypluggedin.com/events and go get registered right now. There's no need to wait until last second. I know as an esports person myself, I like to wait last second, but hey, why not just go ahead and register and get things going today. Yo, Monkey Man, it's that time. Let's go ahead and get into the top 5 plays. The chill, thanks to your help and that hashtag chill, tagging out the great plays that happened in week 1. So the top plays now, let's check out the video, starting with number 5, which will be, of course, the auditioning Viper, who got a little bit of help from his friends, dropping down, but getting the 2-piece there at the tail end and kicking it off with the ice-cold Sprite clutch to really get things going there in the upper quarterfinals. That was Gorillas versus Malicious, where it was Malicious able to take it victory 13-7.
Number 4, switching things right around. You got to be smart to play this game, which means you sometimes need a 200 IQ play. Instead of engaging, live and fight for another round. Majestic used their not dead yet, but not dead yet still has a question mark to it. Vims, all they had to do was run a marathon, go to B, and they were able to take down Majestic.
Look at him go. I mean, he's got to be in shape for something like that. Here at number 3, we've got Neek. That's actually the second kill that you saw on your screen there. And this is in overtime, mind you. Heat of the moment, if there ever was one, in order to get the job done here. The rest of the team is planting, but why not just handle it yourself? Get the 2 kills at the tail end with the overtime winner.
The number 2 slot. This is the second time you'll see the same auditioning Viper, and it was a 1v2. They had to run from C to A across all of Lotus, drop their Viper pit, but still had to get the secure on the defuse. Time was ticking away. They used the aftershock and then had to stick at least half of it through the stun. As WoW wanted to secure the round, auditioning was not having any of it. They get just enough time on the clock, and the defuse goes through. 1.55 left to go. What a way to clutch it up.
And at number 1, final finally, we've got Ron actually going to be snubbed out with the Hunt. And still fighting Matt. 3 members know where you are. It doesn't matter. Look at the 2-piece one back to back. And then with Paranoia, you think Ron's going down. Well, you're wrong, because he's able to get his focus back on, get the 3-piece and the defusal as well, and route them to victory after they were able to take it 13-9, Hail Monkey Man. And that's a big thank you to all of you in chat by typing the hashtag chill. And that chill segment is brought to you by, of course, Sprite Chill and Radiant Rumble here. And it was a great moment for sure, Hail Monkey Man.
Honestly, it had a lot of fantastic plays, and that means that we went from the magnitude of all of our teams that were able to register into this awesome Radiant Rumble, and now we're down to just 4. Pugstars up in that final, Malicious on the other side, but this one is what's coming up in our lower semi.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check it out. And right now, we saw a prime example of Malicious, who got us by surprise with Majestic, who I'm surprised the only time that we saw him in the top 5 was when he was unfortunately falling to a 200 IQ play. Did not do him justice, because he was able to take this relatively new team, I guess, on the way to the top side, but only as far as WoW's Little Pug Stars, where WoW led this team, not only in the name of it, of this team, but also in the heart and soul of it, as him and the rest of that squad were able to make it through that top side bracket to the grand finals. So they're only going to be 1 map away from a victory versus what we got going on in the lower side there, Hail Monkey Man.
Yeah, this is all best of 1. Spin Avengers actually had a pretty good run up until they had to meet Malicious, which was absolutely vicious through their topside bracket sprint. But the Gorillas, you've seen them before, you're going to see them again, as they had to take down Hebron High School, as well as DTE, which is the team that we actually started the entire broadcast with. And that was a heated battle. It ended up being a 13-6 between them. But as they have been not sprinting, but taking care of business, this is definitely going to be one of the largest challenges that the Gorillas in the Mist are going to have to face off against. And again, it's all elimination, all survival.
That's right. You got to keep your focus throughout this bracket. And, you know, sometimes it takes a team to get warm. Unfortunately, you don't have that luxury. You mentioned it. It's cutthroat. It'll be best of 1. And in fact, we have the match coming up here very momentarily. In fact, we have it right now. So let's go ahead and head down to it now, as we have, like you mentioned, Gorillas facing off with this Spin Avengers team, who #1 team getting knocked off. This is their chance for revenge.
Yeah, and it's going to take them winning not just 1, but 2. They have to win 4 in a row in order to take this entire thing. They have to win the semi, the lower final, and they have to win twice in the upper finals, but the Pug Stars only have to win that 1 time. Rascal was the leading anchor and the one of the top, if not the top, of the squad on the side of the attacking Avengers. On the other end, the Gorillas will be starting onto defense. I want to see how X Factor comes to play. We actually got some extra knowledge about them, and apparently they're a bit of a chess player. Maybe they'll turn this one into a chess match all its own.
Oh, 100%. And maybe they'll orchestrate it as well. Been in the orchestra for 12 years. That's insanity. Not to mention played football. I mean, this guy is just absolutely a 3.8 GPA. By the way, I forgot to totally mention what they were doing inside the classroom. This guy can absolutely just bring it. So I'm definitely interested in to see what they're able to bring here, because it just wasn't quite a victory when we saw them the first time around. But this is their chance to go up against the big dogs in the #1 seed. And right now, X Factor are going to try to lead by example here with Jet, the duelist, coming in as well. Right now, just 1 locked in on the other side of things, though. Bobstar with this Sova. Last time we saw them on, it was Lotus. They brought in a Fade, so that makes sense going with the Intel initiator here. And we'll see if they get these players locked in here. I'm pretty sure they're hovering, so we should be good to go for Haven. If not, we will take a second. No, sure enough, they weren't able to lock it in. So we'll get you up to date as far as what's happening right there. But from what I saw, it was pretty standard from Bobstar. We'll see if the rest of the team follows suit there too. In fact, Spin Avengers, when we saw them on Lotus, there was Dami on Omen. They brought in it was just your standard double duelist, it looks like. Rascal on the Cypher, which he was basically all day long.
Yeah, you say standard, but Mookie was running it down on the Neon. That was in particular kind of neat, because there was a lot of footwork pressure, especially because you can weaponize that overdrive in a big way. And Lotus was actually it's been super weaponized about utilizing Rays, because I've seen so many, especially pro-level teams, really be hyper-vigilant about building up the pick potential off of the showstopper. So instead, they wanted more of that to go into that Neon. But what's funny is, I don't know if it was just a float and if it was just, because we we had a PC crash, and now we're going back into it. But it looked like it was the opposite for a second, because Komi Bomi was looking at Neon. It looks like we will at least see Mookie teasing that again. Bobstar was on that fade a little bit back. This time Sova might be the call, and Komi will actually lock in the Jet. So we're going to be having a Jet duel of some combination here in the near future, but I think we have another PC crash as well, so we're going to have to take our time.
Yeah, this is what happens when we try to lock and load it. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. I think we saw Bobstar lock in Glow, but that was after the PC had said they're going to be restarting it. So
Yeah.
I feel like we're probably not going to see that, although I'd love to see it. We weren't able to see Haven either yesterday, Hellmonkey Man, although we did see the other 3 site map plenty of times to your liking, of course.
Of course. Look, I love Lotus, but like, if it's gonna be a 3-side map, at least, you know, shift it up between both Lotus and you know, some Haven. But we go to Haven today. I think they all recognize that Lotus was a bit too pendulum swing heavy. We talk about how often the attack on 3-site maps is favored because you have to spread much more of that defense, but Lotus seems even more so because of the pivot potential. Haven, the only way to really kind of go between those main sites, you have to go very deep into the map to be able to go between the links into B, whereas for Lotus you have the doors as well as secret door that can break to be able to get between them, so it's a little bit faster. But this one in particular, you have to really deal with longer hallways if you want to really commit.
Yeah, there's so many angles at Haven, but that C long, like you mentioned, I mean, to be able to have to commit to that side, you better have a game plan going on behind the scenes in order to help you transition back to the A side if C is where you want to go originally, because we've seen way too many times the operator just absolutely hold it down to a science with how quickly they're able to pull the trigger on multiple targets as well in order to take that off. So that's a big talking point to see too, because it's a long trail trying to get to even Cubby for cover, much less get all the way to boxes before you're going to have to dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge.
Shout out to the 5Ds, and at least 2 of them are dodging. But that's actually why I've seen a lot of utilization for Breach to be able to take over this site, especially for teams that are very confident that they don't need too much extra intel off their initiators, or maybe even running double initiator. I don't think that's what's going to be happening today. We did get to see Dami was more than likely going to probably float into an Omen. I think we're going to have our dual Omens and dual Jets, but it's really going to come down to how Mookie is going to be influential. Not to mention Roblox on this Yoru, which can quickly, because of the the width of this map, flip everything around in terms of personnel. You can actually match up against what's running at you.
Yeah, and you get a lot of usage from Yoru maybe on the new map, and we haven't seen Yoru very frequently outside of it, but you still get a lot of that value from the gate crash, as well as even when you get to your ults with the dimensional drift, being able to get a little bit of extra intel. Speeding 9 should be able to provide you plenty of it, as well as the Omen to some degree, Cypher. So they're just going to be a super wealth of knowledge as far as where the other team likes to play. And man, I mean, I guess you're going to have to need it if you're going to go up against the #1 seed here, which locks in pretty standard. Like we mentioned, Bobstar, we've seen play on the Fade and Lotus, now will be on Sova. Dami was already on the Omen and doing it and playing Omen all day long. So now that the PC's actually up and running, looks like they're basically not only in their comfort picks, but in one that works very well in Haven. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Spin Avengers has both locked in Lotus and they've locked in Haven as 2 of the maps that they played in this tournament.
The biggest thing that I'm seeing right now is we have no flashes on the side of the Avengers. So they're going to be going off of a lot of intel, and they're going to be banking off of the aggression that they can get between Komi Bomi and Mookie, which I don't think is at all a foreign concept to them. They've been able to send those 2 in kind of as a dynamic duo, buddy cop style, just wham bam, thank you ma'am, going in and just taking care of business and stealing space, as it were. So they don't have to rely on deterrence. But the Yoru in particular, because you're going to have those sidewinder blinds, that's going to be pretty massive to have to get through. You also have the tripwires that can be really sneaky, depending on if you've done all of your your lineup type of research off of any good cipher, looking at how, especially I'm looking over on VCT, I think I see like a social media post from China like every other day, like, hey, a new cipher tripwire. I'm like, oh my gosh. So maybe we'll be seeing some of that trickery going into this game.
It was funny, yesterday we saw in the matchup matchup against Team Infinite versus DTE. A Cypher on Cypher crime, as Cascade was able to catch Lucid on a play there, and it is actually hilarious. Like, Cypher, you should know this, but yeah, those trap wires, they get creative with them, so you can catch even the people that know how to play Cypher best, and I think that's an excellent talking point with just how much you get. There's never been a time in my eyes, Helmucky, that we've seen this map without a Cypher and an Omen, like, at least not being the meta play.
Yeah, I love Omen on this map in particular because there's some cheeky vertical positions. I love doing it up into A, but it's gonna be a garage C rush. Mookie's gonna actually receive a ton of electric damage as a shock bolt comes through, but it looks like they're gonna put the majority of players over into garage as they want to steal some space. Are they gonna be ready for who's outside the door? They see Rascal, and yet they're getting taken down on two different fronts. Komi Bomi is gonna find a couple. Mookie finds the next, and it becomes a 3v2 with the Gorillas still just too far away to get back to sight. They can't win any of these duels.
Yeah, it all started with this duel. Not to mention Copper might have won one duel, but listen, you're still rocking just the 8 HP, and that's as much as you'll have here. We'll be able to get one kill, but it won't matter. The Avengers will walk away with the pistol rounds here, courtesy of just a great methodical play towards Garage in order to get them onto site and force the hands of Gorillas in the first place. But you're right, it came all down to the gunfights later in that round. One that went really quickly too. Spin Avengers were pretty decent on pistol rounds as well as far as the matches that we saw. They went 3 for 4. So they are able to at least build on that Monkey Man and move into this next day with basically that same head of steam.
Yeah, and you're now seeing the gamble stack. And the gamble is not going to pay off from because you're going to see the majority kind of poke out from Garage and from Long C, and everyone else, well, it's gonna actually, I'm gonna say it's not gonna pay off, but they're at least not gonna see some early resistance. A 4-person flank is coming right behind them, but I think they're recognizing that, and they're gonna be running away from any kind of pressure. So now entry will be guarded, and they're gonna have double shotguns just outside of Link, which means that this is all gonna be about Sewer. They put out some damage. Speeding 9 finds one as Bobstar will drop. That's actually gonna be another one. There's some weapons being dropped along for Gorillas to really come back.
Yeah, that was crazy. Rascal seemed like he saw a bunch coming through Sewers, and yet wasn't able to accomplish much with it. However, that being said, Komi has really turned the tides here, and Dami will follow suit as well. An Omen in on Omen battle here. A fake defusal and one shot with the Sheriff as Dami tried to break through as well. That was quick reaction time from Copper. You love to see them even this match up, even after they lost the pistol round.
I am never gonna say what I said in the early part of this round ever again. A gamble stack that didn't pay off. Well, initially, they just kind of misread. They went for the, you know, the 33%, 33.3 repeating, whatever. But then they were able to simply take over as they got them from behind because you have that smallest amount of delay depending on how you go and find them. So it comes down to a 1v1, one brain cell share between two Omens, but it came out with one flick of a Sheriff shot to really be the difference. Avengers stumble at round number 2.
It's not like them. But again, we said that yesterday as well. Whenever they dropped that map, it was a close one. They were able to keep it close. Look at that dash out just in time. Copper wasn't able to track the Jet as they cross with the tailwind, so they'll instead hold back here. The spam will work actually from the Odin. So Speed of 9 able to take out one, and that Jet's still hurting. Okay, Bomi, you're seeing right in front of your screen. The spam still trying to get him, still hanging on to this 2 HP, trying to serve as a distraction for the rest of their team here at Garage. And now that metal piece of the door has been broken off, so that means that spam is going to maybe work a little bit. That's a hot shot there from X Factor. We talked about his resume. He's looking to add to it.
All business. They want to go to school for business. In fact, finding another one.
No!
Oh, the fadeaway Factor. I know that there wasn't a lot of HP left with Bobstar, but still able to land both before either can connect on to X Factor. What a play to finish out round 3.
Oh, man. Ended that round with some bass. After he added, it seemed like he was in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But he was able to get out nonetheless. That's an orchestra joke. He's been in it for years.
Did they say what they play? I forgot if they said.
I don't think so. But
okay, I'm sure. Read that paragraph again.
We'll get with them absolutely after this broadcast here today. We'll find out because that was just filthy. I mean, that was so clean. How quickly. Number one, that they were able to get that kill, but also, you know, being able to fade away and get that last kill back to back was insane. Just, it's great. But 9 looking to get some more damage done, but Comey had other ideas, being able to pop into your face and make it difficult. Copper could not land that one. Mookie's got a couple of kills. The Neon Rush tends to be working here in today's bracket, as Rascal will force X Factor by his lonesome. And at least she got a little bit of firepower here, but they're going to be able to sneak around him too, so it'll make it incredibly difficult with this operator, especially when they're able to spam you through. They know where you're at. Rascal with the last kill here, and Spin Avenger is able to answer back.
These walls, much like Ascent's walls, much like every map's walls on this game, made of nothing but hopes and dreams. It helps just kind of create a veil of disarray of, you know, deception that you're safe when truly you're not. X Factor wasn't able to get kind of involved, and that actually is going to be still a pickup as they're going to rebuy into it, but that is going to be a freebie over for Komi Bomi, so we could end up with a sniper duel depending on where that's going to be going down, and that's exactly what's going to end up happening here on long form of A. X Factor, you're going to get called out on the wide swing on that slide as Mookie wants to at least bait him away, but look how they're calling over and Komi Bomi to be there as well. The stun is going to keep that duel from going forward.
They finally want to deal with that jet that's been pestering them. The operator shifted over A side, and they didn't want to have to deal with it. But they dealt with it pretty well. Giving a little bit of space, but they'll still be able to hold up Heaven and keep that sight line on that A side. Meanwhile, here, we're taking a sneak peek just outside of B on the backside defensively. And KJ's lined up pretty close to being able to have that sight line, but it's just tucked behind that corner first. So any movement from that KJ will be pretty difficult, but as a Sentinel, all you're doing is trying to track anybody who might be coming through. Call out any footsteps on any rotations. Into the defense, it's going to be coming a little bit late because the attack point is going to be on A. And Komi with the knives out, able to pull that one too. And that is going to distract them completely as Mookie was able to swing around and at least cause some damage, where Dami was able to get an additional kill. And Gorillas falls one by one. Hunter's Fury trying to cause a little chaos. The sneak around from Rascal is actually going to be sniffed out before it's able to develop. And that'll at least give an opportunity here for Breacha. But a very much a long shot. Sure enough, out of defender spawn will be taken down by Komi again with the operator, and Spin Avengers will take this lead now after surrendering a couple in a row to Gorillas.
Oh my goodness, I actually had looked for all of a hot second. I was like, all right, it's a 5-2. Maybe you think about saving, but then they get aggressive and they use that Hunter's Fury, and the flank was nearly the end of that conversation, but great just kind of discipline by Breacha to make sure to keep all angles level, and even as they have to kind of leave out their Sova and Speeding 9 to still continue to take their 3 shots, they're able to protect them from off one angle as they lose another. So taking a few guns off of the Avengers in that way is actually the biggest victory that you can really get. You go into an eco round now. Breacha and the rest of them. This is kind of normalcy of thieving of some extra space, but you meet Rascal again. They know one extra player already went somewhere, and now they're having to play the cat and mouse game deep on their spawn.
Rascal is very wise to know that Copper had the opportunity to swing around there before, just out of sight, knowing that they're on that Omen, and they take them out because of it on that far side. That was an attacker spawn while we're watching Speeding 9, the last one here for Gorillas, being taken out by Komi. A bit of taste of your own medicine. That operator that the defense was looking to hold off the A side with has now come in handy for Komi a couple of rounds in a row, and Spin Avengers with 3 rounds in a row themselves in order to go out to this 4-2 lead.
It's a great combination. You already know that Mookie and Komi Bomi are just an unwanted lethal presence against any team. But on your own team as the Avengers, you're there to use them in the full, just fledged use of your arsenal. And the biggest thing is now that you have this operator on Komi Bomi that was a free pickup that they've kept for what, the last 3 or 4 rounds, Mookie can just create chaos and draw fire. The stun not gonna get him on the stun bolts. So Mookie is going to just go all the way up into deep long A. And as main gets taken over, they're going to see a lot of early rotations. X Factor wants to see them from out in this cubby position, and Rascal's just kind of waiting them out.
With all the patience, all the time in the world, really. That lockdown will not affect Copper here in Heaven, but they also know that. I was wondering if they were sneaking up. You heard the Neon. But instead, they have a little bit of extra support up top as the defenders were able to chase him out of that look anyways, with the Sova checking out the Owl drone, trying to catch out who's on site, perfectly drawn up from Heaven. That they are going to be blocked off by the dark cover. So Copper actually wants to dive through it. It's a mistake as they were just chilling underneath at Hell. And Comey now with the operator yet again, his third with that weapon specifically. And Rascal caused even more damage. X Factor was just trying to land it there, but didn't have any kind of time because Rascal was tearing through sewers, just kind of dipping around that area. And Spin Avengers, after a surprise loss in round number 2, well, they've definitely brushed that off the shoulder recently.
Yeah, 4 in a row since losing out on some extra eco that gave the better weapons over to the Gorillas. And since then, Avengers have not looked back again. We're in the cycle of suck on the side of Gorillas because you have to go from buy, save, buy, save. We're on the save side of that coin. And I mean, that last round was bent around one good 1v1 there from Stewart. Oh my goodness, they know that they send the numbers and it quickly became just a fight on the streets.
A firing squad lined up through window, and they must have seen and done a little bit of research there. Either that or they guessed completely correctly as they just went to window. And with a weaponry advantage there, including the operator, to take out that first pick, they had known that they lost at that point if you're Gorillas. But again, it's still early in this one. Haven's always been that attack-heavy map anyways. And just need something to get them sparked for sure if you're Gorillas. And they were thinking about buying an operator there, but I mean, if they lost that round, it would have been a very, very difficult thing to explain to the rest of the team, in my opinion.
There's a tendency now on these saves. The Gorillas like to go and take their ecos out into mid-space and Haven. And that's going to be down-checked now every other round, depending on how these go, by the Avengers. So you're not going to get that for free. I think the Gorillas are going to try and rethink how they treat their ecos. Mookie wants to take this one out from Garage, but they're actually dealing with a pesky King of Copper. We're going to trade up weapons as they've been able to conserve a lot of extra economy by getting a lot of value from these judges, and they're making great use of the 100% accuracy off of the slide. Tommy making sure that no one's nearby as they begin their plants, and that's actually a very wise decision. 5v4, Avengers playing a man up.
And here we go, Roblox and X Factor here on the backside, going to be trying to dip their toes in the water, trying to get back onto this A site and check out where the setups tend to be here for Spin Avengers. You've seen a couple of plants here, so you know tendencies. You know that they like to play Hell, and Rascal has been there. And in fact, Preacher actually going to be taken out from by Bobstar here to kick things off. That being said, Mookie was dealt with, but still a numbers game that they're frankly not winning. Not now. Rascal and Tommy combined, and Dommy will do the rest with a 2K at the tail end of this one. Spin Avengers continue to just add to the lead.
What do you think? I mean, this has got to be what's going to be happening. At minimum, Avengers at the beginning of this round are going to swing at least 3 or 4 people mid. And they're going to check and see if Gorillas are going to do the same thing they've now done every other of the past 2 or 3 rounds. So they're going to be putting the bodies out there. And it looks like we already have 2 congregating on this back end. But this is also a force-up. So I think that some of that was recognized because you have loser credits now starting to multiply. So Avengers may actually not send that same kind until they see bottom of the barrel wallets getting posted up. Odin spam spray. I enjoy much like any other.
Look at Dommy is tucked into this cubby here, waiting for a flank around one side in case they get a little bit antsy here. It's a tendency that's very natural as a player when you start losing rounds. You might just be able to catch them. Actually, X Factor, now that Tommy's shot, he's going to need to get out of dodge. And actually faked it and almost got X Factor in the process. They'll be cornered out here. This fight is going to surely go in the way of the Gorillas here. And there you go. Finally, Copper was able to come around. Now Mookie doing damage on the backside, though. So even though they were losing on the other side of the map, the Avengers are going to take advantage and full control of the C site. With just X Factor and a Copper left on the side of the defense to try to break them out. They got to work in tandem here. They got to work together, and unfortunately, it's looking like maybe one of them are going to fall into a trap here.
It's a map flip as well. They're holding from the defensive position, and the defenders have to go on as attackers. Paranoia will go out, and they're actually going to just swipe away from the operator. The dark cover comes through. X Factor has to stick it. And they do actually have some level of cover. Mookie's going to try and run it down. Can they get to at least half of it? They don't even see them until the last second. It's going to be a 2v1. Someone's going to stick around, aiming for the right click, but Mookie's just too slick with it. Going to walk away. They're going to keep that operator for another round to play.
Mookie reminding me of a kid that just bought new shoes. Look how fast I can run. Literally a distraction there in that moment.
Like they line up too.
100%, they do. They're so cool. I wish I had that as a kid as well. Like, stay plugged in. I wish I had that when I was in high school type deal. That situation was funny. Seeing Mookie just kind of storm by, and it really did feel like you felt some gunfire was coming from up on platform there on site, and that's why you saw them tuck out outside of the dark cover instead of just having to. You had to deal with it instead of stick the defusal there. And that really caused him all sorts of distraction with Mookie storming through as well, and just wasn't able to come up with that victory in that round specifically. And that was a buy-up, remember, from the Gorillas. So now is the time where you have to talk it out, because I get it. There's only a couple more rounds in this half, but if you don't get at least 1 or 2 on the board, this might be just a Spin Avengers just stomping grounds, to be honest.
Yeah, it's yeah, this is like Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU as Doctor Doom. It is that level of evil that the Avengers are currently bringing. Shout out, that's actually happening. I don't know if any of you guys saw. So that's real. I'm glad to lay some knowledge bombs onto the rest of my nerds out there.
You heard it here first.
But yeah, it's also so difficult to deal with one duelist who literally can just be 100% sliding at you with their with pure accuracy off of their rifle and judge, and then another one that's pure precision. That is tough of an arsenal to deal with.
You have to have that level of not only intelligence, but also the discipline in order to take those moments and be able to swing them in your fashion. Right now, Roblox is swinging around, getting a kill there early, make it 2 there with the Bulldog. And suddenly, after a buy-up didn't go your way, you're starting to win this round, and Piece It Together was able to at least tuck behind before Bobstar could get a sight line and get a kill. Now the defense has him absolutely tucked in. There's nowhere to go, and this attacking spawn has been locked down. Should be caught in multiple areas. You think if anybody has a chance, it'd be the #1 seed, so we'll see what Bobstar can do. They lost Mookie.
Oh.
And they don't have any intel either. Look, there is no, nothing. Not even their recon dart. That doesn't come back for another 27 seconds. There's only 40 seconds left in the round, so unless you spam your way out of this, you're definitely out of it. Hey, we'll get one. But a thrifty round is complete for Gorillas. It's exactly what the doctor ordered.
That was a interesting position to be in, and they still had the mindfulness to know that because there's so many extra players that they got to shoot vertically. And even when they were paranoid and they couldn't really hear, they were still like, all right, a TP probably happened. And so good recognition. But Roblox finding 4. And so they actually double up the amount of kills they got the entirety of this matchup. And 4-8, not an unquenchable thirst going into the next half, especially because, you know, it's going to be an attacking half here for the Gorillas, and we get to see what trickeration maybe Roblox can bring. Dimensional Drift, look for some early intel, and they're going to identify where everyone's chilling. I think they're going to be seeing a lot of extra bodies here on A.
That's definitely what we're eyeballing right now.
I guess I just stayed back.
William's kind of tucked back there. You got X Factor watching the doorway. And Spin Avengers clearly haven't made a decision yet. They do have Mookie watching on the C-Long area. Foamy. First engagement complete on the A site. Dark cover to hold off so you can get a little bit of a backup here, if you will. Copper. Although you locate Comey, not able to get the kill. It's Comey. Pulls that one off. Difficult situation there. Preacher going to take them out before the knives can do any additional damage. So at least one bit of positive news here in this round. And even the fake out, they will be blinded momentarily. Breaches still doesn't want to peek out, and that's exactly why. Rascal able to take out the rest of them. It'll be Spin Avengers up 9-3. And we'll have that advantage after the first half.
9-3, still a winnable venture. You're able to grab at least a handful, and you're going to force this to a minimum be 4 in a row for Avengers on a defensive half. Problem is that they have a really good defense at times, and even if it's just questionable, they often go 50-50. So you have, what, 12 rounds in here, and 50-50 of that. It should just be kind of nigh inevitable, but the Gorillas, I'm free to listen and see what they can do. I want to see how they get Preacher kind of going, because 2 things need to happen. One, Roblox on the Yoru pick combined with X Factor has to be as overwhelming as Komibomi and Mookie were on their attacking half. Two, I want to see how they get some lurks with Preacha as a kind of a looming lurking cipher and see what they can do across this map as well.
Spin Avengers might be 4 of 5 in pistol rounds from what we've seen, but the one they lost was when they were on the defensive side. We'll see if Gorillas can do exactly that, Hill Monkey Man, and they're looking to push them behind elbow between B and A and that link. But it's 1 for 1 in the trades. Ooh. But they do a lot of damage there early too. Comey from the backside. They are able to storm in, attacker spawn, and just absolutely circle Copper, and there's nowhere you can go. Spin Avengers continue their run on pistol rounds, and will continue their run on rounds here in general on this map. We will move to 10-3, and Hill Monkey Man, they are just an inch away from being able to move to the lower finals.
I'm thinking the Gorillas are going to force up into this round. It feels like one of those that you kind of go into. Maybe if it was 10-2, they would automatically... Nah, yeah, this is what's happening. Okay, so Buckies and Stingers. Avengers have to be making this kind of read as well because obviously, second round of the entirety of this match was a thrifty in favor of Gorillas. This time, they're going to be forcing up to try and face into Avengers. So this is not a free Arsenal diff. You have to be ready to be able to meet gun for gun with this. But it looks like they want to be able to press into B. Maybe they're just more, I guess, familiar with kind of collective squared off space. As X Factor on that bucket, they're taking some damage and they're gonna get banged through the wall.
Yeah, Dommy, and it wasn't even high level weaponry either because remember they just won. It's a Spectre. They just won the pistol round instead, and he's still doing damage here. Oh my goodness, I thought spacing was only an idea that we talked about in Smash, but they were able to stay far enough back where it didn't matter, and why not just pick up the Bucky and then just kill them with their own weapons as well? That is rude. Spin Avengers. Man, they are definitely avenging through the lower side of this bracket. Oh my god, man, you put it best at the pre-show.
Oh, Roblox put all chat reported for the Bucky kill. You don't take my gun and kill me with it and think you're getting away scot-free. No.
Riot.
I'm telling on them. Well, Avengers got 2 left to go. Gorillas, it's not even a hill. It's, you look, Kilimanjaro would start to sweat with how high of a climb that this is going to be. So Gorillas, I mean, we'll be able to see what they can do. Running it down with a jump straight down, saying you come away with a kill.
Oh my goodness, and you still got out with your life. How does that happen? No. Oh man, Cam is going to chase out Mookie. But he already got one with the judge nonetheless. He said you want to work on some shotgun action. We will do the same. And why not just an outlaw shot from basically point blank range from Comey to add injury to insult here, quite literally. I was going to make a kill a man Jaro joke, and they basically did it for me here at this point. Anyways, just left is X Factor, which you're going to need one if you're going to make a comeback in this one. This will be a huge moment. If they could gain some momentum either. Rascal misses. Great mobility, but at low HP. Rascal does finish the job here. And let's not lie. I mean, a little bit of me was cheering for X Factor to pull off that ice cold Sprite clutch, but it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, Rascal for all of a moment caught on the flats of their feet. In case you guys don't know, that's a band reference. You can look it up. Spin Avengers, they were able to find the sandwich on either side, and so now they have 9 up at worst. If this entire narrative flipped on its head, we end our way into overtime, but the Avengers, I feel like they've just been able to kind of push and press the limit. Mookie is going to be using their overdrive at minimum. They're the only one with their ultimate, but they've just ran it down, unafraid of trying to just end this one here.
Mookie, overdrive, driven down to the ground, but Comey was able to just use that distraction enough to get a kill. 9 in Roblox, though, will combine for a couple. This will be the first time that they actually have an advantage on numbers, but guess who they have to deal with? That pesky Rascal of an IGL, quite literally in Rascal. And this is a moment that Rascal lives for, so I want you to keep parked here because this could very well be the end of the map, regardless of this 1v2 situation. Rascal's still peeking. Yeah. Trying to hold on.
Pesky pixie pestinome. See if they can pull off some magic.
Fine, locate. Nope. By the time you try to roll in, Rascal had that timing down to a science.
Oh, man.
And now it's a 1v1 situation. Rascal had the right angle on it, though, but he didn't want to push it. Those roadblocks could be out front. Maybe he doesn't know he's on site, but he has a very, very good idea that that is a prime possibility. We'll just hold this angle here. And now with 30 seconds left, you have a decision to make. Roblox. Rascal is absolutely getting in Roblox's head here. And they're probably going to just translate over to the C site to try to get a spike planted. And they might actually pull it off here, Hill Monkey Man. We'll see the 1v1 here in just a moment.
This is the most scared I've ever seen anyone be. Me too.
I am too. Yeah, I'm petrified. I don't know if you can tell my voice there, but...
Yeah, this is absolute nerves. And Roblox now has to 1v1 against one of the most dangerous players in the entirety of this lobby. Rascal with the champion skin, full health. Looking to take on this duel. They put down the turret, timing, waiting for that one to set up, and they break it from right around that tight side corner. They actually get taken down. Roblox not done. Able to survive through round 16.
That was... I had already in my head said that Rascal, the way that he was playing that round, was going to pull off the win. So a credit in the world to how Roblox was at least able to get one back on the board here for Gorillas. Doesn't give you much breathing room. At this point in time, you know that rifles are going to be the play here from here on out, essentially. There's no saving at this point. Match point for how many rounds now? It'll be an extra 8 rounds at least. So they're going to need to win a couple in a row. And Mookie is just spamming through dark covers and hitting heads. My goodness. What in the world was that shot? There was no intel there. And he was still able to pull that off.
Behind enemy lines, Mookie sees all, ends all, trying to take all. They're getting laid out. Both of the duelists go down, Kumi Bummy and Mookie. That's actually a fantastic play, but it's a long flank. Rascal ends up behind enemy lines. Dommy's looking for another one. It's another 1v2. But this time around, the Gorillas are on the worst end of that. King Copper. All right, they're going to have to plant it the exact same. They go and retrieve the spike. Able to go and plant for C, but you got 16 HP versus 2 big killers.
And not even going to plant the spike. Instead, going to take the engagement first.
Oh, wow.
Questionable decision, but I mean, you are on edge at this point. Oh, all right. Well, you get the shock dart to kill you off anyways. Oh, I thought I was going to miss. It doesn't matter. Spin Avengers. And a very humorous finish there. We'll advance to the lower finals to face off with Malicious.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Hopping around, drawing out the engagement, knowing based on the intel they're being told by their teammates that that omen is super low and they want to finish them with a shock dart. That is fantastic. So, good communication across the board. The Spin Avengers, a 13-4, turning this lower semifinal into a swift sprint. And I mean, that just very definitive, especially by the hands of Mookie at the top of the stack.
Yeah, I mean, in this version of Sprite, Chill, Cherry Lime, Cooldown, it's all about Mookie and what he was able to accomplish in that round. He was a distraction. He was a one-on-one gunfight menace. He just gave the speed necessary on the map, as well as we kind of hit on points for Haven all the time. But it truly did matter in that. So as well as Gorillas played, and give them props. I mean, to go up against the #1 seed like that, and be able to kind of, at least throw together rounds that maybe you shouldn't have won, they were able to do it. But just came up a little bit of shorts. That Neon play was absolutely fantastic. And it was Spin Avengers from the beginning.
Yeah, we got to see some very nice plays to start things off. This one in particular by X Factor, who's got some snappy shots to complete that 3K at the very beginning of it all. But it was when the Gorillas lost composure, and that was onward from round 4 to the rest of this match, that they just weren't able to really combine together to find the Avengers at any kind of disadvantage, even taking the Bucky away from them, what they brought to the table. And that's why exactly that you have to be afraid, be respectful, and be ready when you're facing the Avengers.
Well, fantastic job. As you know, #Chill is still running strong. We'll put together a top 5 after this broadcast is over. It'll be in a day or two or so. We'll keep you posted. But the only way that you can find out is if you follow us on socials. Stay plugged in on X/Twitter. It is stay_plugged_in. If you're not already following, do so. So that way you can catch those top 5 plays. Keep spamming that #Chill. Actually, don't spam it. Hit it whenever there's a great play. Don't be spamming it. That would make us very upset. and you have to go through a lot of chill. Oh gosh, now everybody's gonna be doing
That'd
it.
be a ton of yeah. Don't do that. Like just one chill maybe every few minutes if you must. If you really have to get the chill out of your system, or you get some extra chill into your system. I have sugar-free, and it's actually fantastic for casting. Shout out for everyone that's gonna drink it because it is delicious.
And the regular is just so good that I'm drinking it right now. To be honest, just because it's good.
Yeah. If you guys ever had Sprite Remix, I've been told it's better by this guy right here. So
Yep.
I don't know. I gotta try out the regular one to see if that's true, because
Yeah.
you saying it's better than Remix, that that rewrites everything I knew from high school. I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, we've got the lower finals coming up. It'll be Malicious facing off with those Spin Adventures again, a rematch coming up after this break. Welcome back to the Sprite Chill Radiant Rumble, presented by the limited edition flavor Sprite Chill Cherry Lime. Get it at your local convenience store and come hang out with the cool kids and chill with us. Hail Monkey Man, speaking of the cool kids, there are only 3 left. We're in the money at this point. Guaranteed the Avengers were able to make it to the lower finals here for their revenge against Malicious.
Who doesn't love a revenge tour? Well, the team that loses doesn't like it. But yes, we are in the top 3, and that means that cash is on hand. $600 to the winner of this entire event. But you can also get $250 or $150 depending on where you end up shaping up in this lower final or the winner's final. Remember, it's a bracket reset, but we're still all best of ones. We're going over to the tried and true Uncle, Grandpa, I don't know. Actually, Uncle Grandpa was a cartoon show. Them all, it's Ascent. And I'm seeing the tiniest bit of difference over here from Malicious as they're trying a few variances that aren't just the old meta that apparently is being used by the Avengers.
Yeah, then we just talked about it off broadcast about how bringing in a deadlock can be dynamic on these smaller maps. And that's exactly what we're getting here, as one of the auditioners are going to go ahead and lock in deadlock as we see ahead of us. And the other 2 auditioners looking at Sova and Cypher respectively. Majestic on more of a role than I'm used to seeing them in, on Jet here in the duelist sense of the word, and Ron, who we saw as the #1 play of the top 5 plays here on the Chill segment, is going to be on that Omen as well. On the other side, pretty similar, except for the fact that we have a KJ and KO. So the Ks coming through on the other side.
Now, the biggest thing that I'm saying right now, Ron has switched out from the original role that they had as a Killjoy for the longest time. They're going to be on the Omen, Majestic, off of the Clove, now over to their Duelist. And we have a change up amidst our 3 auditioners. And in case you guys haven't seen the auditioners, there's 3 of them. Someone is the real one. Other people are just other things.
Is that
I have seen... I think so. But I've actually seen this composition in particular be amazing defensively and offensively, because you leave yourself so many extra options to be able to hold both sites across the map, as well as then combine them, like both of your sentinels, onto one site, and it drives away everyone, which means that you have to have Spin Avengers looking for where each of the different utility pieces are set up in order for where they got to go, because that's a lot of gear to have to just put your way through.
Yeah, with the double sentinels as well, especially when you're defending, you have the KO to try to lock down some of the abilities, but they're going to be used prior to the at least on the Cypher side, prior to the round even starting, and Deadlock probably pretty closely after that. So that's something I'm definitely eyeballing here, is if that double sentinel will be even touched by the KO. We really will now just be looking to lock down maybe the Omen and Sova of things on the other side. But here we go, round 1 of the lower finals. Winner of this, again, we stay in this best of 1 territory. Hail Monkey Man says still as cutthroat as ever. Or if you win, you get to the next level. Last time they matched up, it was Malicious over Spin Avengers 13-9. And last time it was Malicious that was able to take a couple of pistol round wins as well, looking to add to this one. But Spin Avengers trying to get that first run, and they will, as they caught Cypher trying to put down some util. And we'll get the first couple of kills before the Deadlock was able to swing around.
Oh, Majestic now caught between a rock and a killing place. They find 2. They're looking for their 3rd. The same way that the opposite side Jet went with Komi Bomi. Now the same thing. Ron decided to ignore the KO and immediately went for the plant. It becomes a 1v1 using that net. They're just behind him, and they're trying to sneak away while caught inside of it. That's going to be good cleanup. Malicious is first on the board.
Yeah, and you figure that that's the Viper from yesterday, just based on the tendencies, or at least I do. I don't want to speak for everybody. Based on what we saw there, playing late in the rounds, playing I know Viper not a sentinel role, but I mean the way that you can utilize Deadlock pretty similar, and just the tendencies there to wait late rounds and pick up that pistol round win yet again. Malicious has been very strong in that aspect. Spin Avengers though, late in that round they were able to push a little bit stronger. We all know that Ascent has always been defensively heavy as well, so Spin Avengers no panic mode here. Although they will have a very tall order here, of course, in round number 2.
Tagging out the util on either side. They know that both these sentinels are split up. So at least so far, you got the KO knife that identified that the Deadlock is over onto A site. And they're already looking to get through any tripwires that the Cypher is setting up here on B. Looking to lean that spike out into A. And the sonic sensors, though, have not been Well, he's gotten rid of. One is right next to door, one is in tree. Those are both really good placements because that's going to be some of the more dynamic movement, and that means you're going to catch them trying to be more aggressive, and you can't really maintain that. You got less than a minute to go though for here in round number 2, and I mean Malicious is not going and peeking too aggressively, which is forcing Avengers to have to do it instead.
From long angles, we talked about how when you're left with pistols and or shotties, in this case pistols obviously, after losing the pistol rounds, you force them into trying to take shots from a distance, which the Guardian is going to win every single time, even though that one was relatively short range. And Malicious now in the 5-3 advantage state, and really in their flow state as well. And typically you'll see teams come in and be a little bit cold, if you will. Not the coldest, but still pretty cold coming into the first match, but that is not the case thus far, as Ron will pick up where they left off yesterday, this time with a 3-piece, and will be able to win that second round here, sending us to the bonus.
Yeah, Ron is really a glue for between Majestic and the entire crew of anyone that's auditioning, because they were able to find one of our top 5 plays on their Killjoy yesterday onto Lotus, and they can be very clutch in those moments. Already at 4-1, but now Avengers are going to be having their bye round. Want to see what Komi Bomi is going to be doing. And the biggest difference right here is that Mookie isn't in that double duelist role. They're over into the KO, which means they're going to be much more responsible for shutting down what is the problem here for the Avengers. And it's getting through either site's full placements of all this utility. And that's going to be the barrier mesh. Quickly got rid of. Okay, Rascal gives themselves away, but that's actually drawn a lot of eyes and aggression.
The paranoia is going to freak you out for sure. I mean, appropriately so. And you were scrambling out in the first place, not being able to see anything. Hey, well, paranoia will kick him off on the other side as well, as Jet will dash on his side, which will start this bit of chaos here on the A site. Meanwhile, at mid, we'll catch Majestic winning that battle on Rascal, who is trying to rotate around in that support. But a great shot there from the deadlock, but will be taken out directly by Mookie. We can ride some momentum from that lower semifinals matchup. Now it's all up to Majestic and Gang as they will hop back onto site. He will get one. Turns for hell. A great trade out instantly after Silva was just basically playing distraction there at this point. A very easy defusal for Malicious, and they will win this round too. Even though they didn't have the full rifles, they'll move to 3-0.
Yeah, and that's going to ruin the eco. That is an eco crash here for the side of Avengers. Their first buy up, and it immediately goes away, and there's bonus cash. Even if it's not a lot, Malicious took the guns out of everyone's hands on the Avengers, and they keep one. So Malicious is looking just as vicious as they were the other day. And so Majestic obviously is going to be that key player that you're going to be looking at, but they are not short for having a full cast of support out of both Ron and their Deadlock that have been really showing up here in the early part of this match.
I'll drone out here for the A site. Not much you're going to locate there when you get everybody basically stacked in there. You see 3 here on tree. The flash works, but you got to land your shots. Eventually does. It took a little bit longer than usual. And really didn't feel good when you landed them anyways, because then you were dead on your back right after. Oh, the Annihilation was able to grab one as well, so down goes Mookie. Majestic trying to hop into that dark cover, still missing shots. Both teams, this is very uncharacteristic. A little bit of sloppy play to kick off. But Malicious doesn't really care about that instance because they still have Majestic up, although a shock dart will take them out. From a distance, they try to answer. It'll be just left to Dami here. Honestly, here, Spin Adventures has done a good job in this save round to get a couple of kills. You wanted maybe 1 or 2 more, but I guess at the end of the day, Hill Monkey Man, those losing bonuses are going to kick in pretty shortly after this one.
Really will. You have 1, 2 to have to take care of on site, and even with a long flank forthcoming, no entry, no dice, no issue here for Malicious. But yeah, they were having to go in there with sheriffs and some light shields, and Avengers gotta find a stabilizing pivot point right here, because otherwise we're gonna see this first half of the first half go the way of Malicious. They have been so keyed in about just stopping them at the point of entry. How many times have we seen the plan? I think we've seen 1 defusal of the 4 rounds.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that, that's not exactly the most telling, but for me, that makes it so difficult for you to even to establish a post-plant scenario. So gotta see what they can do now with full rifles as we actually see the no command online. They're going to shut anything else down. They're going to spam a little bit through, and that's actually going to be the battle bot that drops as well as Komi Bomi, but the respawn comes in through Mookie. It is just a firing squad through the smoke.
And Dami able to get 3 though, somehow able to dig deep in order to get a few kills here before anything terrible develops further. But damage has been done. Malicious again, Altron gonna spot you out as well. 11 HP, you don't even have time to shift out because they're gonna shoot you through Workshop. And maybe Avengers needs to have a workshop of their own to try to come up with something, because the engineering right now is not really working against who used to be playing for the Engineers in Majestic Nuts and the rest of Malicious.
Yeah, this is a tough one for them, and so it's a good call just before you go into what could presumably be your next eco. Let's talk about it, and I think that's honestly the right rhythm to play the macro game. And Malicious, they got to be feeling really good. I mean, they've dropped a few here and there. They've had 1 and 2 remaining, a couple of different rounds, but otherwise they have denied free entry, and that's unfortunate too, because Avengers did utilize that null command, did not make any progress beyond the main archway. The spike got left behind. Everyone was just in a doomed, blinded firefight through that dark cover. And Bear, so far, Avengers have not looked like they've been able to really decipher this double sentinel composition.
It's something that I can clearly and almost confidently say that Rascal hasn't seen as a look defensively. Reason being is such a strong IGL sitting. Sure, the 0-5-1 doesn't feel good, but that aside, you know, you got to find a way to rally your team. The timeout is perfect. It's probably the first real solid decision that we've seen from Rascal in this map. He's been so good to lead this team to a lower end run, but unless they're able to at least pause things and get things going in the right direction this round, it'll be very difficult to dig out of it. Rascal knows this. Very smart player. Probably wishes that they've had landed a couple of their opportunities that they've had in gunfights, but they will have to put that out of their mind and be a true leader, a true IGL as you roll into this next round.
And the problem too is that Rascals, you know, they're able to find some kills at times. So far, not, because they don't have the same lethal presence with Komi Bomi and Mookie like they had before. Now Mookie does get at least one auditioning. Oh my goodness, this deadlock play. They take out both Mookie and Komi Bomi. Those are your 2 big slayers. Then another one on the follow-up as Asova is able to get rid of Rascal, who is dependent upon their duelist to find some level of space. That's not going to happen in this round. They're on another eco. You had all of 1 hero rifle bought up by Komi Bomi because they used their Bladestorm a round ago. Ron just going to be holding tight in tree. This 2v4, it's not inevitable, but, well, it might just be.
And Ron will finish that off. I thought that was a 3-piece by the deadlock, by the way, earlier, because Audition came back up. Oh, only a pixel is what Majestic needs, by the way. Methodical. They'll also have 4 ults online. The only one they don't have is the Annihilation, because it ended up landing a kill to get them in a position where they could be 5-0 in rounds. Now they're 6-0. They are just running away with this one. But this is the opportunity. It's a very pivotal moment. Again, a buy-up is going to be forced here from Spin Avengers. One of the omens. So you look towards Bobstar. What's the plan here? Usually you look towards the B site when we talk Omen. Or sorry, when we talk Odin, rather.
There's definitely a spray that's going to be coming through. This wall, just like all the other ones, is Swiss cheese, and Rascal is on the tightest little archway pillar to not die to a full shred of a bullet spree. Oh, but Ron gets rid of Komi Bomi. A nice immediate trade as Mookie's able to avenge his friend. Majestic is just holding this tight angle with the operator. They know they're fighting a war on 2 fronts, depending on where they want to travel. There's still a lot of cheeky kind of pressure being applied at B. Depending on if they can get a pick here, they might be able to move it, but they do want to put that spike at least more towards mid to be able to bank off of one of those extra options in this 4v4.
And what's the right decision here at this point? You still got Rascal over towards B side. Get an inch in, but it's in wide open space. This Sonic sensor gonna call you out there as well. The Deadlock already making an impact very early and often. Deadlock gonna also be able to find the location via the ult here and be able to play entry back towards Garden, inside Garden, and now's the time to swing. Oh, but even though they were blinded, a great job from Dami to stay in there, but they will eventually fall as well. Bobstar now takes out Majestic here. And even though it's felt like a good round for them, they're still going to be dropped here to a 7-0 mark. Malicious, how in the world did we go from a 13-9 to a situation where Malicious is going to try to go a perfect first half?
I mean, that's Ascent. Ascent is such a played and measured map that when you finally get who of the team that's just executing better, especially when you kind of go into this composition where you can freely cover info as well as early deterrence because of double sentinel, it is so glaring the difference of how you're able to even get to site. We've had one plant, Bear. One plant in 7 rounds of this first half. That is so telling. Comey, by just virtue of hitting through a brick, is unable to die just yet through an operator, but they are very, very low and very, very near. Majestic's gonna be holding this upper side angle, and they're gonna use that same ultimate. Can't quite land the shot, so they're gonna try and back their way up. Comey's able to at least get one. Big trade, bring out the Blaze Storm. Now let's jet for jet play, but now the operator goes away.
And Dami did such a good job to step forward and play into space when typically it's not a good idea because it was smoked off up top. So Great Dark Cover was able to help himself out in that moment. And Mookie has been doing big things in this map, although the team hasn't quite been able to do it either. They look at one in hell, and Rascal is able to just rotate around before they're even able to make anything of that Altron. And because of that, we've got Spin Avengers finally on the board. Granted, it's a Brazil.
I mean, you know what? Even Brazil could get 1 goal, 1 round here by the Avengers, and that could be the start of something more. The good news is we're not in extra time. We're still in the middle of regular time. So it either can get a whole lot worse, or this could be the beginning of something new, and that's Avengers finding a string of successes. They're going to have some extra rifles with them, and they're going to have a couple of ultimates. One in particular I'm looking at is, in fact, the Killjoy lockdown, and they could be able to use that to go towards B. That's why you're seeing some of this more stagnant lean as well, but it's kind of they're actually just playing out their Omen on the backside of the defensive side spawn to flex into either direction, but that's why there's a lot of pressure being down checked here out in Marketplace.
Yeah, and in that mid area where you always love that control here on Ascent. But they're still behind that archway, so they haven't made progress on Market or Pizza, and it's still being held down by the Cypher, who is auditioning as well. And so they really couldn't make anything of it. They really couldn't make any forward progress either. And so that will actually just nullify the attempt of KJ to use the lockdown on B. Instead, they're gonna hold on to it. They feel confident going to this A site, even though they will have a lot of util to have to deal with. And one of them happens to be Ron, who has been switching back and forth between the B and A side, so he's going to be one to watch here as they push through. Sure, you're able to take out Majestic, but Ron was there. Paranoia out through the dark cover. Wasn't able to find them. Dami was parked on the other side. Ron did not look the correct way because Dami was able to sneak behind them with a teleport. Well executed by them. Door down will allow them to at least attempt to get a plant down for the second time in this map. They weren't able to do it quite yet. Spam through, but there was nobody there where they anticipated them to be in hell, and Dami was already able to get another kill. And that'll force Silva into a place where they try to get out of the lockdown, but they will be detained. But how long will it last? Will it be enough for them to swing around will be the question, or will he be able to hold on to this Odin is basically the only question that you can ask yourself here, as Spin Avengers is about to put 2 in a row on the board.
Looks like they were going at least into a save. I think there's enough time if they really wanted a 1v3 hero playlist, they could, but they also don't want to give away a free weapon, nor have to deal with creds. The majority of these have gone down to 1 and 2 players remaining for Malicious, so they're actually being still very concerted about how they're managing the overall kind of finances from round to round. So a very smart move, especially as they were barely able to get away from the lockdown at the last little brick around that archway. Otherwise, that one could have been doomed. So keep one gun going to the next. We're into round number 10, and the Avengers have put together a couple. And yeah, this is exactly what I was looking at. That it's not exactly a healthy economy on the side of Malicious either.
No, they've both been struggling a bit. At least now that you've dropped it. You mentioned it earlier where Malicious has dropped 3 or 4 different individuals on the earlier round, so it didn't quite allow them to run away as much as you might think what the score line would tell you. And that's why, you know, you're not only holding on to the Odin just because you don't want to lose it to the other team, but also because you want to hold on to it yourselves. And you you can hand it down to Silva, who can do this and try to spam through the wall, but no damage done as it was a little bit too far out of reach in order to get any damage done. Rascal still is just, I mean, hellbent, for lack of better words, to try to find any way to get onto this B site, because B has been an absolute shutdown zone for malicious.
It really has, and that's the power of the double sentinel that really is at play. But they're playing also with a kind of backwards from any kind of extra gadgets. And I mean, shout out to Avengers, because they've been able to use the shock darts to really clear out some of that extra threat. And then they've been able to run behind Komi Bomi, who's been so spearheading so many of these attacks. But Majestic is holding this tight side with this Judge, and this could be so detrimental depending on how it gets pushed away. There is actually already the dash locked in, so they can still use it depending on if they need to escape. That one does get canceled out. They don't immediately swing. And they find the target. Oh man, they just get a shoulder straight into the face. So Majestic does clear out Komi. Rascal does the same thing of the Sova. So now it looks like they're gonna be trying to rush it down. Oh, they bust out the ultimate as soon as they go down out in mid. That means they're being picked up, but there's no one there to support him, with Bobstar also falling.
Yeah, and Dami is not gonna be able to fight 4 in order to make this happen either, especially when you're already back in Boathouse. Deadlock will secure that, as Mookie will fall after, of course, your last opportunity to be picked up was lost. An ultimate again not coming in handy. And Malicious able to just march up to 8-2 mark. Big part of that has been the deadlock. It's crazy how you mentioned that pre-game. I wasn't expecting or anticipating to see a deadlock here, to be quite honest, but the impact it's had here so far in this map has been undeniable. 14-5 mark is what they've hit. Talked about Spin Avengers trying to get their revenge. Now you see, for the first time, Deadlock trying to get a little bit fancy, a little bit aggressive here, and was taken out in the process. But was able to, with Annihilation, take out Rascal before they dropped. And so you do 1 for 1. At least you get 1 on the board. For your team, even as awkward as that was of a circumstance. But yeah, we talked about how Avengers want their revenge. Maybe Malicious wants their revenge even more so when we talk about heading to the grand final with Little Pugstars. They've been putting the pieces into place so well in order to make it happen. Ron's at it again. Now with the paranoia to try to work them out. Knows Bobstar is there, tucked in behind that corner. And even with the dark cover there, was able to snuff them out and gain the kill. Just counted. It's a timer in your head, and you're making it happen. But he's got a couple creeping up on it as well. He's going to tuck behind this box. Took the sound cue. He has an opportunity to get a couple more. Good trigger to the point in order to get the first one, and Majestic was able to rotate in time to do the rest. That round was all about Ron there, and that's the big reason why now they're up to 9-2.
That play out of Ron, it's just fantastic timing. There was no doubt that they were ready to engage from Wine, and to just, they're like, okay, what's the tendency? I'm gonna throw up Paranoia. They want to escape. Dark cover goes down. They're gonna try and immediately pop it. Nah, let me throw a blind shot. Boom. That is game sense on luck. Also, rolling back, I actually had like sadly muted myself. Deadlock. It is amazing to see how much more power was given to the Sentinel purely by virtue of allowing the sonic sensors to be picked up. That's really what changed so much of this one in particular. But this is going to be a quick speed run of this final round of the first half. You already have the, I guess, Deadlock catching themselves inside of their own net. Immediate trades here on A. They've been able to find success on A, and they want this to be the final round that they actually have to go to it. Got to see what they can string together. Further success going forward. This door, very breakable here in just a sec.
Komi dying was not on purpose, but is actually best case scenario for Spin Adventures that you only use your duelist. Worst case scenario is that you have Deadlock here on door, is able to spam through it, to be able to get another kill down. Majestic in rotation. And now even though the spike has been planted, Rascal has been basically been locked out, which is ironic being on the KJ and the lockdown. And Majestic will be able to easily defuse this again. Another surgical round here. They haven't had to retake very often, very frequently. And even when they were able to do so, they'll head to 10-2 into the second half.
10-2. I think is that our biggest differential that we've seen across day 1 to day 2? I think that did happen on day 1, right? No,
it had not.
No, it had not. Okay, cool. All right. Somewhere in one of my deepest ranked nightmares, but you know.
I think it was 9-3. Avengers chill. I actually might be wrong. That might have been a 10-2, if I'm not mistaken. It ended up being close, nonetheless. So.
Yeah, roll back the VOD. Go check out yesterday's VOD. It's actually on both YouTube as well as here on Twitch. Which, actually, I said here. You could be on both. I don't know. Either way, we go to the next half. The key difference, we have double Sentinel that have to attack. That means that there is a dependency for both of those to either lurk or just utilize this kind of free space. Kobe Bumby's gonna light things up. They're hoping for a quick shot, but as they run away, unable to find nothing.
And Tommy the Paranoia trying to cause a little bit of chaos at the very least, but he's gonna be tagged instead. The jet on jet action. Tommy able to get out and get a kill, but it's too late. So he's gotten one. Bombstar as well through that smoke, through the dark cover, backing out as well. And they'll rotate around. Malicious, for the first time, is actually kind of sweating in a pistol round, as Spin Avengers hadn't been able to actually win it against this team, at least not. So an opportunity to do this now. They still have a little bit of health out of the hands of KJ, so that will be difficult to kind of deal with. Not to mention they're going to have to peel up all of them through heaven, it looks like. They're lined up to sneak past the dark cover and try to get back on here. Cyber Cage trying to add to the chaos a little bit more. Trying to siphon off hell so that way they don't have that advantage either. And Bobstar's gone. Sylvan is back. But look as this Cypher comes through with the 3K. With the Ghost. Right on cue. You watch your others fall and you take their place and get a couple of kills of their own. And the pistol round will all but secure the lower finals here as they'll roll into this 11-2 advantage.
Yeah, this is Force Up City. This is going to be Avengers having to fight from a very poor disposition, which means they have to go and get at least some stingers, and they're going to see what kind of utility they can even post up as resistance against Malicious. This has just been a clinic ran by this squad. They've done it off of just good compositional awareness between their Cypher and their Deadlock, but also just off of some stellar play of Majestic and Ron. Everyone pulling their weight here for Malicious, and a little bit of a knock at the door as we hear the Ares as well. Spin Avengers got a tough task in front of themselves if they're going to be able to try and well up some vengeance going forward. And that's already a good first strike.
Sheriff from a distance. You need to rely on those kind of shots here. I don't care how small a scent is. When you find Malicious taking advantage, taking space in basically every facet of Ascent, you have to find a way to take it back. Step one complete. Many more to go here as Malicious lines up, trying to find any kind of intel. But the discipline, again, from the sound cues of Spin Avengers, they won't give you any. And they've also got every single piece of util in hand, except for Dommy's dark covers that have been covering the sight lines of A and really forcing them to second guess themselves in where they want to head here with just 30 seconds left in this round.
Someone's trading. Gonna have to spin straight into it. They hear the stinger, and Majestic is right around the corner from them. They actually get hit by the Paranoia. They're gonna try and rush in. Double cloud burst. You have everyone up over in the heaven. One just off of server. The recon dart's gonna give them away. They know they're off over into that door, and they're just laying them down. This buy-up is actually putting big investments, massive stops. 9 seconds to go. They're gonna try and plan for the long point of server. A couple go down. They get them off the Ares, and now it's a 2v2.
The blink of an eye, and they've already gotten numbers dead even. Rascal gonna try to fix that with a spam through the smoke. Got one, a couple of help efforts there from Bombstar, from Heaven, able to at least do enough to keep them alive in this one. The buy-up, I mean, you said it looked good. It almost fell apart after 3 deaths in a row, but the Spin Avengers are at least able to give themselves a shot here.
Yeah, they do, and they're going to have winner's credits, but it's going to be about as even as it would be if you were kind of off of a pistol round. They do at least come away with a Bulldog and an Outlaw, so those are going to be influential. But Avengers, they breathe somewhat peacefully. You have a long way to go before this one can be recovered, but otherwise, you're able to go down fighting, and they're able to grab that round. Massive spin, by the way, off of Tree, as you did have that re-entry from Rascal. This is going to be where Rascal really does kind of strut their stuff and showcase that they're here to stay. This is defense is where KJs are king.
Yeah, you did gain basically no value on the attack side except for potential rotations, which is difficult to pull off on this map anyways. And now the Nano Swarm to deter. And Malicious will stay wise, but Ron will stay dead.
Hmm.
As Komi was able to put it right between the eyes, and now Malicious will be forced to have a decision to make here. Rotation to A seems to be what they want to do, but Spin Avengers has held their positions defensively and are just trusting themselves, which might be the first time I've said it all map long, as Malicious will gear up here for a couple of different ways they want to go. Komi's got a couple to deal with here. You see a couple of the auditioners, if you will, just lined up to try to come through. Komi, we've seen him line up once before. Lotus, it didn't really work out for him. And this time around, he's trying to make better use of this one. Going to be pressured by Majestic in addition to that, who came from the other side. And now Mookie's turn from heaven. Damia taking out one as well. Spike planted, but Mookie taking them out one by one. And in a round where Malicious wanted to save, well, they got the run into the deal as Spin Avengers was ready for it. Here, a flawless round is exactly what you needed. If Malicious were to save, you didn't want to give up any rifles, and you didn't.
Good news is you also, if you're on the side of Malicious, you come away getting flawless, but you also get a plant. So you get an alt orb, you get some creds to your bank, but it's a small victory, but the big victory could be on the other side of this particular round, because right now Spin Avengers are going to be persisting as long as they can for this just everlasting bonus plus, seeing if they can add and stack that as far as wide as they're able to. But Malicious, this is their buy round. Rifles are coming through. They're actually going to have the Annihilation if they can really weaponize that. You can bang that off of some of these corners as well. And Rascal wants to get aggressive already. Getting rid of the camera. They don't have any extra sight lines. Does look like they're going to be leaning hard into B, but you also have your Omen kind of separated from you. Komi Bomi goes a little bit too aggressive. They get taken out by Majestic, and some soft retreating. I think they may rotate away.
Dove into the belly of the beast, and you'll be paying for that. As now Malicious got their first pick, and they're going to rotate instantly around. And nothing doing here as far as intel goes through mid. So now a tree is going to be where the fight takes place. Meanwhile, at main, they've been taken over completely. Malicious will get the plant down again. And Spin Avengers trying to get back on. Hunter's Fury to try to break through and get a kill here from Bobstar from a distance and a half. And they're going to have their work cut out for them again. If they drop this round, it'll be very difficult pill to swallow here. That might just do it. Here as Deadlock lined up here, holding off the zone. Heaven might be where they come from. Bobstar, you've got from Tree. You've got a couple of sight lines. You need to take advantage of it. Tommy, and in fact, going to be taking out Rascal with the Outlaw. And Tommy combined for a couple. They've got control of Heaven. Now they need to do more. Bobstar going to try to stick this one. Hell was taken over. Majestic will now force the issue here in this 1v1 situation, but Tommy was wise to it. And able to get that kill, but does he have the defusal? He does not. It's not in time. They play time so well, and Malicious will walk away with the round. They'll go to map point.
A very smart idea to not play on main long, because that's one of the most expected angles, especially for that plant. Instead, they played through broken door to tree. That was very intelligent by Majestic, and they have often been the key player that has that more cerebral understanding of the game to really kind of play into it. And now on the other end of this, though, you did drop pretty much every gun except save one of what Majestic had on them. You're going to have that rebuy, and that's all of a consolation prize here for Spin Avengers. They're down 8 rounds. It is now match point for the duration of those same 8, and already you get an Odin wallbang spray as Cypher is able to get dropped. So that's a good first boon here with Bobstar and the Avengers.
This aggressive style has been working for them, and it's not, with the comp that you see in front of you, one that you anticipate working very well. But you take them as you can get them. And mid control, actually, Malicious not looking bad here, as you see the Jet holding off from bottom mid to at least give yourself a multitude of options here. And Spin Avengers, they were aggressive early in the round, but they're doing a good job to kind of play a little bit of diversity here and be able to now relax a little bit, knowing that you have the numbers and letting malicious come to you. In here towards market might be where it's at. Dark covered, so Dami can't even get in here, but when he does, he'll make the difference. A couple of kills after Rascal took out the first one, and that's not an easy initial pick to get against a Deadlock who has been absolute fire throughout, but he obviously tossed a Sprite chill on this man and was able to calm down the storm of malicious, at least temporarily.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be something that you're gonna just, as the Sova, be down in distance, very far away from. It is swarmed and covered by every Avenger as they just come out of the portals ready to fight Thanos to snap him out of existence. So far, pretty good as they just survive for as long as possible. They're actually gonna find at least one ult orb here before time will tick away. So, do come away with the tiniest little bit of consolation, but the Avengers, now it's just 7 rounds to go. And I know that it's a long route, but if there was ever a team that could do it, this one's right in front of you, and they're actually going to be facing one hero rifle, and the rest is just going to be a save.
And how about the number 1 seed, of course, they've got the best opportunity here. And this is the first time that they felt confident in their eco this entire half. Not to mention, this is their defensive half on Ascent. And they've traditionally been gone. Been absolutely nutty at defense here on Ascent. So this is a great sign, honestly. It is a long way, but it is doable. Unless you get caught here. You cannot drop. You cannot have an early casualty. You cannot allow malicious to take first blood, and that'll be a difficult thing to do whenever you've got Majestic right now with the Blade Storm out.
You got the narrow choke point though, so even if they drop one, you still have to be able to file them through. The 0-point knife identified all 5 are here. You don't know if maybe someone decided to just kind of loop on around and go towards that catwalk. And all these lanes are being identified as well. You do have the Blade Storm online. Majestic actually goes down with it, so that means Comey's able to just hang on for dear life. You did find at least one pick into this 4v4. The plant will be coming through. They're going to be rocking to the tree. No flank, which means you're just going to be fighting this man-on-man from between 2 different fronts, up in heaven and through doorway. Comey looking for someone. They actually get caught off the Sonic Sensor, so that's a massive stun. Rascal on the wallbang headshot against the Cypher, and then you have the man advantage, but Rascal again getting caught. It's these Sonic Sensors that are paying off.
And time is ticking down now. Spike getting closer and closer. And now with Comey falling, you've got a prayer to try to get this back here. As Ron tried to transition across, Bombstar caught him before he could. The 4K there in Bombstar. Able to get that last kill here. Does he have time? He'll have plenty.
Oh my gosh, they were trying to finish it off with the Annihilation. That's...
that would have been insane.
That would have been nutty. You give up your life. You've done it before whenever you got it against Rascal on B, and then trying to do it. It was as the Sova was dropping down. Bobstar simply was able to let gravity be their savior. Now you have a timeout because Militia's like, okay, let's finish this game.
Yeah. And they had plenty of opportunities during that round to do it, and it wasn't any mistakes necessarily. It was just a few fights that did not go the way they wanted it to, and that was a major differential there. So in this timeout, there is no drastic changes that I anticipate at all from Malicious, but for Spin Avengers, you're in there and you're still trying to cook up something to complement what you've been able to do in the past few rounds, which have been excellent, by the way. And a lot of it's been Dami's support with that Omen and just getting that value out of his dark covers pretty regularly. His paranoia has led to a couple of kills as well. You see the 7 assists on the board leading the team there. And Ron has been doing the same, though, on the other side. So it's been an Omen battle that Ron has traditionally won here on this map, at least. But Dami looking to turn the tides, rather, and really get Spin Avengers in this. And it is within at least a prayer's length away from being able to capture it.
You can tell that this is also not a comfort zone, at least, like, we got to see a lot of Lotus for the Avengers. They ran Neon and Jet, and it feels like they much more want to treat it like a COD lobby and just be out there running and gunning versus having to be hyper-technical off of their KO. But the KO has been so good about being able to give them more opportunities because they read these kinds of compositions when it goes into these double Sentinels or just having to get through some of these utilities. Bobstar going to try and use the bank shot. They're gonna try and get some kind of scan. They know at least someone is nearby. So shock dart as well ends up high because they didn't get the deflection off. So what's gonna be done? Kobe will be very aggressive Al Jones gonna sight them out, and they're gonna have to run back. That one was a very devil may care position with that operator.
It was. Malicious also forced a lot of the util out of the hands of Spin Avengers, but Spin Avengers really had to use it, or vice versa. Spin Avengers first, then Malicious had to as well to try to get out of dodge. No, you can't miss that. After a blind, you go down. That is not, you cannot make mistakes here when you're down 12-6, and unfortunately that was one of them. Majestic now down to 9 HP. Mobstar will take them out, still has Odin in hand. We'll even things out in the sense of numbers. 3v3 situation. Comey's now got knives pulled. But Malicious has gotten the spike planted, though. Rascal swung around. Good flank here by the Sentinel. Couldn't get that distant shot, though, as Comey will at least get the Avenger team right back into it. The Blade Storm will pull through with a solid 2 kills towards the end here. Spin Avengers staying alive, and Hail Monkey Man, are you a believer?
Not yet, but I'm starting to get hype about it. as any good player and any good watcher should be. And here's the key, because Rascal on that flank is really what secured this round, able to find, I believe it was Ron, who was all the way out in long, covering some Overwatch for everyone that was over into Hell. And great Blade Storm, by the way, coming out of Comey Bomi. We know that they'd be able to do that early and often. And this team has forced out yet another. It's looking like a force eco because they're gonna have some stingers as well as a sheriff be bought. Frenzy Gang rise up if that one sticks. I love you. But Malicious, they took a timeout just a second ago, and it seems like they've already prepped for the next couple of rounds. If they lose that one, what happens to the next eco? They were not afraid of immediately going into a half buy.
Just how dynamic they are. With the Stingers, they have that mobility as well that you have with Jet. You can really get into their face and cut distances down that you would need to with the Stinger. It makes a ton of sense, in my eyes at least. Look how far they've already pushed up. They've gotten the luxury of having. They already have market control. They already have back control. But they also have Rascal that they have to deal with from Boathouse that maybe they didn't anticipate here. And so one will fall before they're able to make any future progress here. Malicious will have to take a pause here. So as far as they've been able to push up, Spin Avengers now basically tucked down in Defender spawn in the back of Boathouse. Rascal's first blood's feeling real good, especially in this sense that Malicious was trying to get it back. Auditioning Sova edition. Now we'll try to trade up with Deadlock. Mookie was just tucked in there. Maybe nobody noticing him in the dark cover towards the back hall. And Dami was able to take out Cypher as well. And Spin Avengers now looking for a flawless round. Ron is not able to get a kill either. So a force buy to some degree, almost a half force buy from Malicious, and it's flawless against their eco is going to be absolutely severed.
I mean, that was their half. So this is going to be their buy. So this is going to be a big telling point. And you were talking about, you were talking about that being market control. As soon as they heard the flood of footsteps, the retreat was called to go to Boathouse because they knew they could use the recon dart to then just wall bang them with the Odin. So that market position became a coffin. They immediately, as the commit was there and the play counter to that was called by the Avengers, they were dead as a doornail on arrival. That's tough, and that's really smart. Good wisdom by the Avengers to do so. Trying to be able to land one. Comey Bomi is being covered up. His dark cover doesn't allow them extra sideline. They will retreat alongside Mookie. You also have this kind of 4-1 split. It looks like that Spike is going to be retreating and looking for extra options over to B, and there's the soft flex to put that operator right out in mid, so they're going to be watching out for that long distance duel.
Yeah, the Deadlock didn't see anything change. The Silva on the far side of the B can say exactly the same thing, so that's why you see them kind of hanging here at mid trying to figure out what they want to do. And the thought process is maybe through tree/garden, but you're watching the viewpoint of Dami, who might have a field day if he's able to land his shots here. as now they've been located. And what does Majestic do? He hops out, even though he had been located, trying to catch him by surprise, but Dami is going to hit that shot 9 times out of 10. And now Comey, the Dami-Comey combination on 3K, finds the dark cover to get that next kill as well in addition to it, and Bobstar does the rest. Spin Avengers now have taken out Malicious with another flawless round, and I said the eco was hurting, I was just a round early. Now Spin Avengers, it almost feels like they're in the driver's seat even though it's map points.
They are putting
against.
Oh, they're putting pressure on him there. They're running him down. This is actually interesting because they've been able to read this group and look at the buy. Because of loser credit bonus stacking, you're actually now seeing a Malicious. They can go stingers. They're going to try and stay lightweight. They're going to be able to be lethal as much as they can, but this is going to have to be another flood stack. They don't have any ultimate to really support them in doing so, so you're going to see a lot of util put down, and they're going to go for early denial, get the swarm grenades out, but you're already getting the own spam. This is when you go into the ult chat. You're weird, man. Bobstar finds 2.
Oh no, is this gold ranked or what? The spam? And it's working, that's the problem. Malicious have no answer for it, and they have no duelist to even jump onto the B side if they wanted it. As the Jet had fallen earlier, Majestic had been called out and taken out, targeted by Spin Avengers, who have been very methodical, very surgical in their last couple of rounds. Rascal is just gonna tear in, and Bobstar will join them. Will secure the 3K, and now double digits, Hill Monkey Man. Spin Avengers, they're just 2 away from forcing overtime here. But they got to fight off at least one more, mostly buy round here from Malicious, as there's only one that's going to be able to bring in just a half shield. But my goodness, they're basically just 1 round away, if you think about it, from being able to force overtime. Obviously, you got to execute on the second one, but it all starts here.
Yeah, we haven't seen a good thrifty out of Malicious. And this is when I start becoming a believer, because this is exactly what they've been trying to earn their way up to. You got a recon dart going forward. Comey's gonna have to walk away. They've been playing great combination off of their KO. Oh, trying to be able to land it straight down and bring in that bullet to like a guillotine in the form of a 50 cal. But now they're having all this pressure against them. The last buy up, maybe the only buy up that Malicious needs. You're gonna see the Hunter's Fury coming down and putting a lot of damage. But honestly, they don't really land much. Dami and the gang, they're gonna utilize this lockdown, and they don't see a Sova ultimate to take it out, which means they either retreat long or retreat to wine.
And retreating to wine is going to be the decision made from 3 of these, but guess what? The deterrent, you got to get to the corner here. They can't all get there, and Ron and Deadlock going to fall because of it. That is what I'm talking about with the IGL stepping up in the biggest of moments there with Rascal, but it's not done. Majestic gets a couple of kills, but not enough to get the job done. They already have it halved, so it'll be an easy defusal here, and Spin Avengers 1 round away from being able to force overtime.
How many in a row has this been? I can't wait to see the timeline. Oh my goodness. It has been 7 rounds in a row. It is a very streaky match. 1 left to go. You're going to be seeing force ups. You have 0 timeouts left to talk about it. That means everything that you've been building up to this moment has to just get compounded, and we could be in store for an OT on the revenge tour for the Avengers. 2 operators, Comey and Mookie. That means it's going to be out mid and out heaven and A, and Mookie may find first contact.
9 out of the last 10 rounds, Hill Monkey Man is the number to beat, but it's not complete unless you win this round as well. And Mookie missed the first shot, but was able to get out with his life. And now Malicious being just as aggressive as he were before, but look, the Annihilation gonna grab 1, at least off of it. Spike has been planted, and now the numbers trying to pull them in. But now they have site control, and now it's up to Spin Adventures to get this back. They do have the weaponry advantage. We'll see what they can do. Auditioning with the Hunter's Fury, tagging their own players, to be honest. We got Comey in the process, though. And now 1 down. Every player needs to be here. Malicious, they waited until this moment, apparently, in order to start popping off. Dami gets 1. The spam doesn't work. Left to just Bombstar and Odin, and they need to kill 3. They've been located, and it might have taken them a while. Malicious hold off a crazy comeback and are able to beat Spin Avengers 13-11, and they will be moving on to the grand finals.
Goodness gracious. The throwing for con is what they may put later on socials, but my word, that's wild.
Wow.
Cutting short what could have been the birth into an overtime, but Malicious stave off what could have been a glorious moment for the Avengers. Fight strong, fought hard, but ultimately laid low. Auditioning on the deadlock coming up huge. I can't wait to see some of these replays coming in.
It's going to be incredible to watch the comeback effort. They had won 9 out of 10 rounds, Spin Avengers did, before they were taken back out. But that's the only reason you get into a place where you need that big of a comeback is how strong that Malicious was able to start off this map. They were able to get to 10-2 in the first round. A lot of that had to do with that deadlock work that we saw earlier in this one, Hill Monkey Now.
Oh, wild. And then we had so many extra flawlesses that were being finished, but it truly was just the takeover. You went to a double operator position, and in fact, that was one of the key things that changed the game at the very last second by the Avengers. They've been playing Mookie and Komi Bomi with operator, and then just the flash support off of the KO right from entry of A. And instead, they changed and just went away. They said, okay, we're going to play operator out in mid and out in heaven. And there was no deterrent to either get first pick pressure or to be able to just resist the initial rush by Malicious. And then they took advantage of that. And then utilizing apparently just the both ultimates and both the Annihilation as well as the Hunter's Fury to lock down heaven. There was no free entry for either the Avengers or for them to get into the winners finals, which is where our next little bit of revenge tour will continue here.
Well, if you need some defensive masterminds to add to your college, take a notes. Basically down the entirety of that leaderboard. Everybody was making strong plays on their defensive halves in that match, and we've seen very similar things from Spin Avengers, although we won't see them anymore. Able to secure themselves $150 in the process, so at the end of the day, won't go home empty-handed per se. But Malicious, their opportunity for revenge themselves. Hopefully they don't have to dig themselves out from that big of a standpoint either, as we gear up and take a chill pill before the grand finals. We'll see you there in just a second. Welcome back to the Sprite Chill Radiant Rumble, again presented by the limited edition flavor, Sprite Chill Cherry Lime and Chief, apparently.
He's
here,
a big fan. He's a massive fan.
It is grand finals time now, so let's go ahead and heat things up by looking at the bracket and see how we got here. As now the Sprite Chill bracket, we saw a top bracket run here, quite frankly, from WoW's Little Pugstar. It's lining up as the number 2 seed, but is clearly dominated and has really convinced us that they should have been the number 1 seed the way they've been playing.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to kind of on the day, and sometimes teams are just big bracket busters at times. This squad in particular, they're able to do it from the number 2 seed position, so they weren't too far away from being the number 1. They started it out with Chill, with one of our free agent squads, and they took down Hebron High School. And then now it's about a repeat as they went through Malicious. It was a tight Lotus matchup there, Bear, but Malicious showcasing, strutting their stuff that even when you have a 10-2 lead and it looks like the comeback is inevitable, they're able to at least finish things off, and now they're here in the grand.
Yeah, I heard that you can't stop a moving train, but Malicious was able to do it. There's credit where credit's due for Spin Avengers being able to not only break into the top 3 there, but then being able to give them a run for their money. And money is what they will earn with $150. But it is match time. We go down to Bind now and see Leone locking in Clove right off the rip with a deadlock to support. 2 of the newer agents locked in already on the Little Pugstar side.
This is also a kind of repeat into what the Malicious side has done before. They played Bind as their second map on the day. Majestic switching around. You talked about that you'd seen him on a Clove, seen him on some Duelists. Well, that Chamber kind of is where they want to float around because they feel lethal. On the other side, though, Leone on that Clove and a Deadlock coming in. Now, Deadlock, again, can be just as omnipresent on Bind because they are really good about putting the sonic sensors outside of window from Hookah. And you can kind of deny the rush as you can get some of these stuns. My biggest look, I'm checking out Alvin because Vims was on a breach when we saw them on Lotus. Alvin was on the Raze. If that Yoru sticks, this is going to be the hinge point for success for the Pugstars.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is such an interesting composition here with the Gecko to add into that initiator play that will get this C a little bit off. So, Yoru, again, very interesting. This lineup is going to throw off Malicious from what they may have anticipated from playing Bind a little bit earlier in this tournament. Majestic going to be locking in that Chamber, which we've seen in the past as well, so that makes a whole lot of sense. And that auditioning Viper, I mean, we saw 2 clear examples of crazy clutch moments. Well, they're going to need to clutch up here in the grand finals as they'll need 2 map wins versus just the 1 map win of WoW's Pugstar since they came through the top side. And they're going to need a hot and early start here on Bind to get the job done.
I definitely want to see how maybe it was a discomfort point of position for Vims when they were on the breach on Lotus because they were acting much more as a support accessory to the rest of their team. This time around, they are a leading component as a duelists. But starting on defense, maybe they'll be able to kind of warm up into that position. And like you've been saying, I'm pretty sure it was the exact same person. That was the Viper. Now then was the Deadlock. Now back to Viper. They really did pop off to be able to help out Majestic. Early barrier mesh is going to be used, but they're going to have all of one person poking at it as a lot of the pressure is at least kind of peeking beyond the ruse here at B-Long.
I like Pugstar's approach here to play aggressively, not because like if you die it's going to be a good time, but it's also like you get the early sound cues and you're able to kind of play off of it accordingly to have 2 here on B versus the typical standard lineup that maybe you'll see a stack on A. Although the Majestic here, the lone soldier with the headhunter, able to locate 1 here on the A side, but not getting a whole lot of information other than that. So you wonder when they're going to hit the wind out over to the B side for a little bit more support. The Viper trying to clear out would-be attackers maybe from, or defenders rather, from that A short. But Majestic gonna take his time to shine now, but the Headhunter doesn't land. Unlucky bit of whiffing there early. And now that you have another one fall here from Malicious, WoW is gonna try to step up in this one. Oh, blasted with the right click of the classic twice. A 3K there from WoW, but Viper yet again is keeping them in this one. And another chance right here on Bind for an opportunity for the clutch, but it's going to be difficult. One down, 10 HP in hand, though, against a full 100 and Quote. So Leone's going to be able to peek it. No ice cold Sprite clutch this time for you, he says, as the Pugstars take the 1-0 lead.
And that's honestly, I mean, as Leone was cutting in space, they had the right click of the classic, and they knew how much damage had been done to him. So that was going to be kind of a done deal effort unless there's a crispy headshot to go along with that Sprite chill moment. But instead, Pugstars defensively lining things up, and I feel like also they're able to make much more experimental and not exactly untried compositions here on Bind, because they have the leniency of Malicious needing a bracket reset in order to take this tournament. So Pugstars can try a lot of different things. Leone is able to get one all the way through their own ruse. They're gonna get the pick-me-up because they had the half shield, and now they're just able to get the fire squad going. Everyone just laying to rest here on long.
And Leone would be the first to tell you that yesterday was not his strongest performance by any means, and yet you still were able to work your way to the grand finals through the top side, no less. And then now your team has the confidence to allow you to lock in Clove to play even more aggressively. So that way you can make plays like that, grab 4 on the board before even dying in this one through the first couple of rounds, and take a 2-0 lead here from Pugstars. It was anticipated, but only 4 kills on the board through the first couple of rounds here from Malicious, which is a little bit of a, uncharacteristic stat line. So we'll see if they can bounce back here with their first opportunity to full buy themselves.
Leone already having a rifle, that's massive. You also have WoW that's able to pick up a big kill onto the sky, so there's no flashes to work their way in with off of that Outlaw. Trying to be able to at least land one of them. Both shots missed. They're going to throw out to the grapple net, and that's going to be at least a couple that are escaping over there in showers, but they've got a lot of just Overwatch hanging there from outside of the shower doorway. Meanwhile, Alvin here in mid, a lot of extra space, and WoW's taking care of business. No one escaping that shower for free.
Viper will get one back, but damage absolutely done on the other side of it with WoW. Just being able to stay true to the name to give them a shock here, as now there's all that buy up. Real advantage. WoW as a pixel off of that one. Still trying to challenge this. Wow, that is a ballsy move there from Majestic. But listen, he walks away with a kill at the very least. But Leone will swing around and get 2 more to add to his kill list. He'll be up to 6-0 and his team up to 3-0.
That's nasty. That's exactly what you want if your Pugstar is going to turn this long bracket into a speed run if you continue to compound a lot of this. And Malicious, maybe a bit of a hangover going from that would have been short map into a much longer 24-round foray. Now as we go into Bind, you're going to see, I guess they're going to be walking into some force-ups. Okay, so they've done this a bit before. Not exactly an unfamiliar state, but it's also not Pugstars that are kind of being overly aggressive for no reason, nor without walking away with at least a pick. They've done that at least twice now out of our 3 rounds. All the way topside fountain, by the way. Wow, I was like, okay, wow, didn't expect to see the bullets come from that high up.
Yeah, Majestic have been challenging him on that A-long, or B-long rather, so he'll take a breather here. Alvin was able to pick off 1. And despite the name change here, does not stay true to his name, as he was so good yesterday. I'm wondering about the name change. Now they see them challenging up on box, and Alvin just kind of keeping, firing off warning shots, as they think they put it. But now here comes the charge here from Short. Vems takes 1 out, but not 2. Leone and Alvin combine for a couple as well, but it'll be the Viper to pick up and upgrade weaponry to try and turn this quarter where Leone's waiting for it, and he's able to take them by storm. A 4-0 commanding lead here for the Pugstars.
There's a half buy. They're going to have some weapons going into this, but right now, none of this has been with a plant. Not a single plant has happened in the first 4 rounds. It feels like we're just trading narratives from what was happening with the Avengers now over onto Malicious. It's contagious here, Bear. And that's unfortunate because Malicious, you know, they still have a stabilization point to reach. I feel like round 5, even if they get a dub here, there may be even a timeout to talk about it. But definitely if there is a loss, they're going to be talking about it even longer. 6-4 is the top of Malicious. Everyone else either with 1 kill or even worse.
Leone, the 2023 Stay Plugged In Coca-Cola All-Star, off to that hot start. The 8-0, they'll look to try to jump onto it as well. Thrash is able to capture 1. Vims is able to capture the life of 1 before anything else can develop. I believe the Annihilation was out as well. It does. It'll take another life there as the Brimstone will fall. That's Ron, one of your best fraggers, but Viper is going to try to challenge that title as they get a couple kills of their own to bring it down to a 2v3 situation in a 1v1. And it Majestic and Alvin, they know each other there based on sound cues, and Majestic didn't want to take that battle. Doesn't want to rush into a situation and leave, you know, your partner in crime here, the Viper, in a 1v3 situation. I know they're very good at pulling off clutches. That doesn't mean you necessarily want to rely on it, at least not in this situation. Here's a ruse. Will hold them off at a distance. They have to stay here in showers and wait it out. Here comes the push into sight. They still have plenty of time, 35 seconds. You don't need to rush it. Majestic knows this and gets the kill, but Leone not dead yet. But maybe they will be, as a spam actually from WoW to get through that Viper's pit was huge, because now they're on their lonesome and being absolutely pummeled by the rest of the team here from Pugstars. Absolutely methodical and nullifies what could have been with that Viper's pit, and now Pugstars up to the 5-0 lead.
Here comes that timeout. Not dead yet, not even dead eventually. 9-1 for Leone, as we got to see them actually in the chat, and they were cheering for some of the gang over there from the squad of the Avengers.
The fellow All-Stars, yeah.
It's fellow All-Stars and fellow, WoW enthusiasts. WoW at 8-1, Leone 9-1, combined 17-2. They have more kills and just than the entirety of what Militia's been able to pick up. Auditioning Viper at 8-5. Everyone else is left in the dust. This is actually the problem that I saw with them on Bind last time when they faced against Gorillas. It felt like it was a very slow start for both their Sky and their Rays whenever they were facing off against them, and there was a reliance on Ron, Majestic, and their Viper to really kind of pick it up. And right now, this defense from Pugstars is just magnifique.
Yeah, I need a little bit more help from the Rays and Sky, who are just been kind of handcuffed overall. Ron is also, again, uncharacteristically being absolutely picked apart. To be honest, this entire team has been. Majestic has had a couple of highlight moments, but also sitting at a 2-5 mark. I mean, it's insane to see how this team has been able to take these absolutely next level players and be able to just hold them to the pennies on the dollar of what we're typically able to see them at. And we'll see if they can't spark anything here. But already holding down the lane was Leone. Teammate will fall here, though, on B long, where the battle will ensue. As the attack is already through Hookah, too. Watch that out. Leone, I'm not sure if he knows that behind him on the ruse, that he's got some attackers behind him. But one fell already because he had an extra support. There are just layers to this defense from WoW's Pugstars. But finally on the board is Rays, and you're hoping that they can shake off all the past woes by getting their first kill here in this 6th round. And wow, now here's the TP, so that'll be a full commit on the attack side, and a very confident decision to be able to rotate around. And Seekers will call him out. They know he's in lamps now, and because of that, that's going to get WoW thinking a little bit about it. Does not take the TP, so that will definitely indicate that he had no idea that the shift happened to be. But he also doesn't want to give up any sign that he's going to be this way too. Wow. With the opportunity. Nothing holding him back to getting on site. As the Deadlock, you don't really have a whole lot that you can do. If the Grav Net lands, that'd be great. That's going to be best case scenario, quite frankly. You got a couple of the snuff out here in this last little push if you can. Tucked into Gardens, they know this. Oh, with the ruse there, that's perfect with the Grav Nets. But they're able to pull it off before anything else develops. Ruse down, shots taken, but that was a long shot. And Malicious finally on the board.
Oh man, that was a lot of sequences and a lot of rotations. It was finally Malicious taking advantage of the kind of the strenuous numbers. They got a first pick potential, and that's honestly the biggest reason they were able to find so much success, because they did in fact get rid of Vims, who was hanging out alongside WoW, or actually was it Leone? Either way, there was a combo there with WoW on for B long, and they were able to get at least one out. There was no one defending out there for the hookah position, so they were able to just spin right around and they caught him by surprise. So fantastic work ultimately, and now Malicious finds that one kind of shred of light, that hope. This double stack is going to be nasty, by the way, if anyone gets caught unawares walking into hookah, and that may very well be this Raze on their way out.
Oh, they lined it up perfectly. The layers, and Alvin just hitting his mark with a perfectly timed headshot to wrap up that 3K. And now has the advantage fully, 5v1. Again, the Viper gonna clutch, but are you gonna be able to take out anybody? No. In fact, Pugstar's not even gonna let him live. They're gonna go ahead and just break down any kind of hope that Malicious was trying to build here. That's 6 straight now for Pugstars. And the 20-person watch party apparently happening at Steve-O's place is gotta be rocking right now. Leone at 10-2 and his team at 6-1.
Oh, heck yeah. What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great watch party over there as the Pugstars are going absolutely nuts right now. Again, a reminder that this is a squad that has 2 lives left in this tournament, while this Sprite Chill Radiant Rumble with Malicious only has 1. They have to force a bracket reset for this to even be believable that the Pugstars would lose. And right now, a 6-1 in the first 7 is a fantastic way to start things off. WoW is going to be in combination with Vims, but even when they down check, they don't see, and that means some timing may actually catch them by surprise. You have them on both sides. Auditioning actually gets them with a stinger. Use the orbital strike to come on out. That's going to be the quick sidewinder you're going to have. Oh, a nice TP to get away from the showstopper. Ron's able to get rid of Alvin, but then immediately is traded. WoW sticking to their guns and sticking out this position. They try to use the Annihilation, but it's Winter Soldier that cleans all the rest of it up.
It's perfectly timed, diving into the play and being able to utilize your utility to hop back out. I say utility, they use that teleporter as utility in their own regards too. They're just very, very much utilitarianism defined here, as they've been so methodical in every way they've been able to take things by control. Another Brazil. This is quite literally the opposite that happened to Malicious in the last game. It's happening to them again because Pugstars has been so on point throughout this Monkey match.
Yeah, they've been just brutal. And again, starting things off, you get rid of some big lethal points and protecting one another in a big way already. Getting that top up with the pseudo heal there on the Clove. Ooh, a nice snapshot off the Headhunter though there for Majestic. They want that weapon that's actually dropped out in main, but now that they're getting Sprite on all sides, and with that teleporter, they're gonna get that rendezvous off, but they're just around one corner, trying to land the snapshot. They eventually get a trade. WoW's gonna get them right back, and it's another 1v3. You know they're getting bored of always getting caught in this 1vx numbers situation.
It seems to happen to them more frequently than not, even over the course of the 2 days where they've been winning matches and winning maps. And yeah, another situation where it'll be incredibly difficult. In elbow, maybe they'll be able to get to Spike here, but even still, you see the Raze on the other side waiting your every move. But I don't even think they'll make it to Vims. They will make it through Leone at the very least. We're able to put up the toxic screen before anybody could get to them, but they are going to be stunned here temporarily, but luckily they're able to get the plant down here before anybody's able to get back. They've got a deadlock on them. Behind him, they're going to tuck into lamps here. Viper, very confident in these situations. And in fact, with the utility, they're going to let it rest for a little bit before pulling it up here in the next second or two.
They've got that spike plant just outside truck. So it's very well protected. It depends on how you want to re-engage. If they go into them from heaven, they're at a disadvantage because of that long sight line, but you really got to combine together, and that's exactly what they're doing now from the Pugstars. They're going to try and get behind truck. And that means that you get a swing. They have to expect that they're right behind it. You actually do have them with the snake bite, but it doesn't land effectively enough. They get it to half, and actually they got to wait it out because they let it. There was just enough damage. It was ticking away from them, but not enough time to be a threat.
The Viper again was that close to being able to pull it off, though. That was a 1v3 that not a lot of players even come close to. It was just because, I mean, that's the difference, though, right? With this WoW's Pugstars team, they've been able to approach that situation just a little bit quicker, where, yes, they have to wait for the snake bite to end, but at the same time, it was not enough to deter them because they acted in just enough time. Other teams would have fallen to that easily, would have taken a little bit more extra time, but they weren't able to. They were able to execute now. And now, because of it, Pugstar is able to take this 8-1 lead. Leone's gonna be chased out the front door. Soldier's gonna fall as Majestic took it to him early. Now Leone does see them walk through into Hookah, but he couldn't land the shots. He was being blinded to some degree. They couldn't quite find it, but Leone will be able to step back up. Vims took the kill though, so now Leone's timer is ticking. He'll have to play aggressively, and they ran through the teleporter. But either way, Alvin's going to catch them all the way through anyways. It didn't even matter because of just how effective the rest of the team was working.
I mean, Leone also knew that into that TP that not everyone had exited from showers just yet, so they went into it backwards to immediately face off where they were just omniscient about knowing that Majestic was hiding inside of it. So they were able to keep their life. Everyone dies. The rotation fails. 90% of the first 10 rounds have gone over to the Pugstars, and there has been a sincere absence of the impact of the majority of the teams that we are players on this malicious team that we had seen before. It feels like they went to a role-based composition, much like we'd seen on their bind, and it's not paying off this time around. Already early frags are gonna find off of this big buy, and no one is shutting them down except the Pugstars. A flawless. That's authority.
Alvin is different in those moments where everybody comes at you, and the amount of chill, the amount of ice in his veins when you're looking down 3 different individuals from Malicious and being able to tear down them nonetheless. That is insanity to me. WoW, by the way, is at 14-2, and we haven't even called him out that frequently, but he has been that good. Leone continues. I know it's not as hot of a start as he had, but he continues just his run as well. And Malicious has just run out of ideas besides just, hey, let's storm in and try to at least cause chaos. And even that's not working. This time, Ron able to at least pick off one with the Spectre, no less. But the best case scenario for Malicious would be a 10-2 here. So, I mean, at this point, you can almost call it, had it not been for that huge comeback in the last rounds. Otherwise, I mean, it's been crazy. Vim snaps on the head. Leone adds to it. The Rays able to get one, but WoW will answer back to it too. Majestic has fallen, and now it's down to the Sky and Rays for Malicious. They're in a 2v3 situation here with a whole lot developing, but the spike in full hands of the Pugstars.
It is well behind enemy lines. Winter Soldier for this ruse peek. They're going to try and see what is immediately seen. 1 extra pixel of difference. You get a quick snapshot of extra damage into the wall. And Wingman says that they're still there. And so does the BattleBot as the Boom Bot comes through as well. Winter Soldier lining them up, knocking them down, dragging the chains straight to the cauldron. 11-1 in the first 12. Pugstars 2 away from a nice payday.
Everything's just working for you. Yeah, and you feel those vibes just across the board. It's insane. There wasn't even a Dizzy to throw off the 2 that he just ran through smoke in order to devastate there in that last-ditch effort to make anything happen. And Malicious has been so good on pistol rounds. You're like, maybe they win one, 1 round at a time. Here we go. But the only team that's given them trouble in the pistol rounds at all in this entire tournament has been Pugstars. So that kind of nullifies that idea as well. They need one of the biggest comebacks we've ever seen in the history of Stay Plugged in order to even force overtime and give themselves an opportunity. And it is a long shot here. It is all but taken by Pugstars here. The Sprite Shield, Radiant Rumble. And they just will fall first. Ron able to take out yet another one here. So pistol round at least a step in the right direction, Monkey.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you had a 10-2 Ascent that became a 13-11, so it's not unwinnable. Auditioning here on this Viper, able to find 2. The spike is dropped outside of Hookah window, and now you have 1 player surrounded by 3. Not exactly the best odds for anyone. Pistol could at least go the way of the Malicious. They desperately need it. Vims between a rock and Well, a very dead place. Frenzy Gang rises up. Sky is able to finish him off.
Pistol round one. I'll just be frank with you here, Hill Monkey Man. I don't see the comeback effort at all happening. I know that Viper is already popping off and defensively plays even better in that role, but I don't know if there's enough in the tank there.
It's a long road. It's just like me on 10% charge and not a charging site in sight. So you just got to go round by round. The entire championship is literally a round at a time. So if they can at least continue to push advantage, at this point, you know that it's a tough call, but you're going to do your very best. And that's about all that we can really expect out of these players.
I think that Dizzy located the one that's by TP, so even if they break through the smoke, they're going to know where they are, and they try to chase him down, but it didn't matter. As Viper and Sky were able to combine for a couple, and Sky was able to take that place right back by TP, tucked in behind on B-Long. So as well as Pugstar tried to play this, and Leone gets a long shot across B-Long as well. But still, it was well played here by Malicious early, especially whenever you don't want to drop too many players. But now they're going to have a situation where the Raze is going to be double teamed here. They're going to try to both push in. The Raze here on Lamps, but the Outlaw will do them favors. So Raze able to get that kill. We'll get the Orb as well, the ult Orb. Now Vims will try to challenge this in another 1v1 situation. This is ideal here, but Vims is just too strong. It's just too holy in the swing game. He has been excellent in these 1v1 situations and able to take out one here and will keep them alive. Another rifle out of their hands, or Outlaw out of their hands now into his, and we'll have an opportunity to possibly get one more kill. Not convinced the round one can be won here, but that's not your ultimate goal as Pugstar's. Sky will turn the corner, get the last kill, and secure it, but Vem's got an extra kill that maybe shouldn't have happened there.
Hey, it's a crispy headshot, and it's Peeker's advantage. Got to give it to him, and that is the good preparation walking into the Lion's Den, and they're able to take out at least one. So Malicious, they're still going to have their main weapons, and they're still going to be rocking and rolling with a lot of extra guns. I'm pretty sure they're just going to be compounding. There's not going to be bonuses here. They're just going to be buying. That's going to be happening every single round, no matter what, by Malicious, regardless of what goes down. Pugstars, it's not a done deal. It's not a sure thing. We've already seen crazy stuff before, even if it didn't result in the ultimate comeback. Dizzy's able to identify Majestic's close proximity. They do have their rendezvous, and they don't use it, which is really the most surprising thing to me.
Yeah, you heard footsteps. You get a little bit nervous. It doesn't happen often, but it does. Well, look at Raze, basically in 2 bullets, able to get the back-to-back kills, make it a third as they try to challenge that one. Not sure about that. The Raze was ready, already locked and loaded. It's not like they were reloading or anything. They were just ready for the next swing. And now the deadlock shield, the barrier mesh would have held them out anyways. And by the time they turned the corner, Malicious was all over to them. Now 4 on the board, and Monkey Man, the first thought that comes to mind is, here we go again.
It's got a little bit of recency bias, but in opposite, because Malicious almost let it happen to them.
Yeah.
So we could be seeing the same thing almost happen again. But again, I am a non-believer until I see like a 2-round spread and not at match point. So Pugstars, they have been kind of playing fast and loose. It's really been a little bit lack of discipline. Not even a little bit. They're just kind of playing much more to a fun standard, which is where you see kind of the macro game being ignored, which is okay for the time being. Malicious, though, isn't that type of team that you want to disrespect for too long. You're going to have the decoy go out. Vims is going to try and take over some space, has to clear every single corner. Oh, they do not see, they're right behind the ruse. Oh my gosh.
They cleared the... Yep.
Right behind them.
There it was. But it only really, you know, launches into 1 kill, because now Leone's going to take you out 2. Oh! Flicked! Flashed! 3K! Leone! Your watch partiers are absolutely loving it. That was an incredible shot, and full control taken back, and Majestic now left. We'll get 1 here off the shotty. But now we'll have to back off and full support, with no support, rather. The operator tried to gain 1 more before he's going to run away. They're going to try to chase him down, and why not? Trying to get the stun. If there's a thrash, he might have been in trouble there. He might have lost the operator pretty easily, but instead he's able to rendezvous out. Maybe another kill. He does get another one on the way out. May get another one? Not quite. He almost lost his life there too. That was very risky. I probably would have been out the back door, but he gets away with his life and the operator.
Winter Soldier saying, "Are you feeling chill?" Oh my gosh. Oh, all right. Pugstars reached 12. This is finally tournament point here for Sprite Chill Radiant Rumble. There's gonna be a lot of support around the operator here on B long, but knowing that Majestic does in fact have this operator, there's gonna be zero challenge here onto this position. The guiding light goes out, no one sees anything, squawks at anything. Showstopper is alive and well. They're actually gonna just commit to using it outside of showers. Ron will actually get a kill onto Vims with the judge. They're gonna hold close proximity. Look at them trying to run away as they had the paint shells in front of them.
Leone knows this is the full commit as well. That's why he pulled himself back up without even hesitating at this point. And now Ron is put together and strung together a 3K. And that's why they even have an opportunity here. And now a couple land in a row here for the Sky. In the biggest of moments, Sky has been silent, but Leone gets that extra kill, will stay alive a little bit longer. It actually gets back to life completely. But Majestic will be left in this situation with him. Operator in hand. Kept it from last round, and that might be the difference in keeping them alive here. But Leone just has to play time. And right now, the ruse is coming down. This is it. Now, Leone, if he's able to land it, he does. He works around, kind of plays with them, toys with them too. And it's an ice-cold Sprite clutch to finish it off and give WoW's little Pugstars the title of the Sprite Chill Radiant Rumble.
Talk about a Corvette swing to finish things off. Just kept running, kept walking, and eventually took the shot they wanted the most. Congratulations to Team WoW's Little Pugstars as your champions of the Sprite Show Ready to Rumble and take it by storm. Bear, this was a wanted revenge tour for a lot of teams. None of them are able to get it as ice cold as this Pugstars squad really was.
Yeah, it's a cutthroat tournament for sure. There's no lack of effort there. You know, when you talk to them, though, in Spit Adventures, and now, of course, Malicious, it's like all the missed opportunities early really came to haunt us. We were able to come alive, but I mean, this early start from Pugstars really set the tone, and there was nothing that Malicious could do.
They just kept compounding the issue. We had a couple times, a lot of times, honestly, where the auditioning Viper was really kind of coming up clutch, but they were unable to create the same opportunities that they had the last time they played on Bind against Gorillas. Nice lineups between a lot of these moments. Winter Soldier coming in hot, and I feel like they just kind of missed having the full team there as Pugstars. I mean, everyone had a chance to shine.
Yeah, he certainly did. And Pugstars were able to rise up to the challenge and really ride the fan base as well through watch parties, through the fellow All-Stars that weren't quite able to pull it off against Malicious. And they have just proven why they have just competed at a whole new level and why they're looking to get to the collegiate level and have every right and every opportunity to do so as well. And of course, Hell Monkey Man, that means they're walking away with the big prizes also, as they'll have $600 in their pocket.
Hey, $600, 120 a piece. That's like a third of a book whenever you're going to college. So they're a third of the way there. But there's a lot of seniors and a lot of from on down junior, sophomore, and freshmen that were also in this tournament overall that are looking to try and go and make that impact into some of those programs. So hopefully anyone that does see this VOD or maybe you saw it live really got to see what kind of players and teams that maybe they want to bring on and in to their own academic structure. I know for a fact that of the three players that were auditioning, as you were, really love, I'm pretty sure it's both the Deadlock and Viper. That was kind of like an all-arounder style player, regardless of everyone that we saw today.
Yeah, that was the valiant effort shown from a lot of these players, but him specifically, it seemed maybe the audition went very well for him. So good for him. And like we mentioned, they're going to walk away with $250 as well. So it's not like they're walking away empty-handed. $50 a pop is not a bad day at the end of the day. I guess 2 days, but still not a bad 2 days. At the end of the day, at least you'll be able to not only say that, but also say colleges, you know, we've made quite a statement here And for Majestic, who was able to bring in a whole brand new team and still be able to get the job done to that degree too, with the not only getting through the top side, but then also making an effort to get back to the grand finals was impressive to me as well.
Yeah, everything about what this tournament, as well as other kind of tournaments at the T3 to Scholastic level, shows that it's anything but free, and every single kind of skill set is being amped up and ramped up, and especially as these players are able to do it through the summertime, so they're able to be just as competitive. They're building on their skills, even if it's just playing video games. They're building it together, and that's honestly what's going to be really cool, seeing how that goes into this forthcoming semester, which, to some of y'all's chagrin, is in a month. So get ready, school's coming soon.
Speaking about in just a month, and to wrap up this summertime, Stay Plugged In has a showcase for Valorant that you should sign up for right now. So if you're tuned in, you play Valorant at the high school level, looking for collegiate opportunities, the Stay Plugged In showcases are the place to do it. We have colleges with dedicated channels within the voice Discord server, rather. They have their own voice channels to chat with you one-on-one about their schools, their programs, what they offer, and then you have the chance to give them your resume and say, this is what we've done. Hey, we came in first, second, third at the Sprite Chill Radiant Rumble. Here's my GPA, XYZ. So you have that opportunity at the Stay Plugged In showcase. The next one for Valorant happens August 24th. So go to staypluggedin.com/events and you will find that August showcase there for Rocket League and League of Legends and Overwatch also. So if you play those games, if you dabble in those games, you can compete in those as well. But Stay Plugged In general, you want to go ahead and make yourself a free account if you haven't already. It's the #1 place where you can go and find esports scholarships, find colleges with opportunities, not only with scholarships, but even some that are looking to maybe establish them in the future, where you can get yourself a foot in the door, if you will. And you can message the colleges one-on-one through the website. So it's not like you have to go find them and go to Discord. No, you can just message them right on the website, which is super cool. Even the spin recruiting specialist who you can talk to give a personalized plan on how you can approach colleges. This all happens at staypluggedin.com. Again, absolutely free to create an account and start enjoying some of the benefits that Stay Plugged In has to offer, including events, including being able to get your name out there. It's the #1 place to do it. And plus, Stay Plugged In also works with Emerge. So if you're part of a high school program, or if you're looking to build a high school program at your school, even better, you're going to want to look sharp, and Emerge Apparel is able to do that for you. emergeapparel.gg, high school. I'm talking to high school coaches now and high school organizers, if you will. If you have an organization or a program, this will allow you to not only have a storefront, but you don't have to carry any of the merch in your hand. You don't have to purchase it in advance. You can just have the storefront online, a very easy link to get yourselves and all your parents, all your supporters, all your players, the jerseys that they need. And then 50% goes back into your program. So it's all about checking out Emerge Apparel and how they're able to advance things forward for your program. And then Hill Monkey Man, of course, you got to have a cool place to show off your jerseys as well. Obviously, Spin Labs, they put together some pretty cool rooms.
Yeah, they do. Honestly, you have all the extra, the pizzazz, the RGB, and the love to it, but also good standard as well as solid equipment to be able to build into. You don't have your mom's iMac that was sitting in a closet. No, you have great equipment that's able to weaponize you to just be able to succeed. And of course, it looks good. You feel good. The placebo effect is real, and that's exactly what these guys have been able to do. You can see some of these at all these labs, and a few of them over in Connecticut as well, and it just makes you motivated and incentivized not only to go to school but also to play at that top tier alongside your teammates.
100%. You can't complain about what we're able to put together in order to make your program really shine and stand out. If you want to get in touch with us to create a Spin Labs of your own, you can just go to staypluggedin.com and find, reach out to us through the contact area, or Renee, RENE, at staypluggedin.com. If you send an inquiry there, if you're a high school program and you want something cool like that, you can reach out. Even if you're a player and you're like, wait, we don't have a program, we don't have a lab, we don't have anything cool like this, find a teacher at your school and just get in touch with us to begin, and we'll help you along the way. #1, find collegiate opportunities, and then while you're finding collegiate opportunities, then you can be talking about how we can really teach you how to create a program at your school. Stay Plugged In is here to help 100% building up programs and helping and allowing you to have the most opportunities possible. Well, hell, Monkey Man, that'll wrap up for the day. I very much appreciate you joining us, as it's been a phenomenal tournament overall. So much talent in the high school scene. We got to see a prime example of just that.
It was awesome being able to see all these top teams. It doesn't matter where your rank currently sits and where you're able to currently be individually. The teams that are put together are able to compete at a very high skill set. So I can't wait to be able to see the showcase at the end of August and more of these in the future, because obviously these students are bringing some of their best.
And when you're at it, while you're out and about, go ahead and pick up a case of Sprite Chill Cherry Lime. Of course, it has been a fantastic sponsor to us, number one, but a fantastic drink in addition to that. So you need to try it out, pick it up as well. So a big thank you to our sponsors. And until next time, Hail Monkey Man, Bear Lights. We'll see you then. Take care.